what's up, everybody? It's Colin, and you saw the video. You were watching. It's talking ball, and it's been a minute. It's good to be back. Kind of dust everything off. Remember how this all goes, but no, it's great to be back. Great to be talking about Spurs. Have some excitement around the club, and somebody sharing that excitement with me is my buddy Tiago. Pull him into the stream, and then what's up, man? How's it going?
Doing good. Last week was kind of a crazy one. We started with Nuno, ended up with Conte. Now we're kind of orphans of football with another international break. But yeah, was the first exciting week about Spurs in a long, long time.
You're 100% right, man. 100%. I couldn't agree more. It's I haven't had this feeling in a long time, and something really cool. Another thing that's giving me a cool feeling. We've got a new player. Mr. K is here. What is up, man? I feel blessed. Truly honored to have you on the stream, my man.
There's an echo going around. Thiago, put yourself on mute for a second. Okay, right. Can you hear me clearly?
We're gonna hear you. Yeah.
Okay, right. The echo's gone now. Don't know if you
Okay.
could hear it earlier. I think Thiago, you got something like maybe some other sounds coming through for your system, and that's what's creating an echo. But yeah, listen, thank you very much for inviting me onto the show. As you
No,
can
it's a
see,
pleasure,
I'm in
man.
my PJs. It's coming up towards 12 o'clock at midnight, so I was going to get ready for bed, but you did your stream. I thought, wow, I've got an opportunity to come on your show. Thanks very much
Exactly,
for having me.
and you're on the return. Like I said, I've taken a couple of weeks break, but I had it's the bug. I had the bug, the itch. I had to scratch. I had to get on. I had to talk Spurs. I don't have a whole lot of people in my like day to day life where we get to talk Spurs and really dissect Spurs and talk about them like on like an in depth level. I have surface level Spurs people like my family, my mom, my wife. They're Spurs fans, and my mom is very Spurs sharp. She'll probably pop on and be pissed off that I've said that I didn't have people to talk to in my life about Spurs, because she's a but. I've got. It's just nice to be able to talk to the boys, have like a little, the gang, the group. I missed everybody, so I came back, and what a week, what a time, though. I guess even more than just the past week, past 2 weeks or two and a half or whatever. It's been a good one. I've I don't know. What do you guys have to say about everything? I mean, were you expecting at all? Did you expect Conte like in the slightest? Because I really didn't.
um, we've got an international break right now. Oh, there's another echo. Oh, so it's sorry, it's fine. It's not that bad. I mean, maybe people can like hear it and not hear it.
It sounds kind of
It's
cool,
very
actually.
minor.
I'm kind of into it now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It
It
gives you it's
reinforces whatever you're saying. But yeah, yeah. Look, the main thing is right now is that I spent a whole summer. I think a lot of us spent a whole summer where our morale was really low. Forget the players, our fans. Hi Shane. Um,
Shane.
Now
What's up, Shane?
we've seen some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, and we're no longer afraid. That was Conte's little word he used in his first interview. I am
And
not
I think
afraid.
that speaks volumes, because I think we've been afraid since Mourinho. Honestly, does that make am I being stupid? But you know what I mean. Like I think that he had the players so afraid to make mistakes, because
Thiago,
they
put
were.
yourself on mute, and then when you want to speak, just take yourself off mute. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Listen, Tiago, it's a pleasure to meet you. I don't think I've come across a stream where we've been on at the same time. So
Yeah, this is cool.
pleasure
That's
to bump
another thing
into
I
you.
like. I like bringing people together to meet for the first time. It's always awesome.
So I think
It's
Thiago should really
actually
take the stage really, because you know.
yeah, it's actually one of my first streams. I never really come on. Colin invited me and said, "Okay, let's do it. Talk Spurs. I love it. I also don't have anyone to talk about. I mean, Spurs in Brazil is it's not that big of a deal. Everybody thinks we are the tiniest club in the world. They don't know half of the story, but yeah, I'm used to it already. And with Conte, it's crazy because since Pochettino got sacked, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted Ten Hag. And when Nuno got sacked, I was like, okay, go for Ten Hag and bring him in. And then I started seeing the Conte links. I was like, nah, it's not gonna happen. Of course not. He rejected us in June. Why would he come in now? We're even worse. Not playing well. Kane wants to leave. Down in tools. Sonny is looking dead because he's playing so much. Højbjerg is not playing well as well. As well. But then he came in, and I'm like, now we can do something. We have a lot of things in place to be a top club. Um, we have the manager. We have a very good director of football. Paratici did a lot of good
who
things
has
for
a record with the
Juventus.
manager. I love that.
Yeah,
That's what I love. There's a record and there's a relationship between the two of them, and I think that is going to be key. You even did
they
the
know
little
each
key
other
in there.
already. They know how each other work, and I think that Paratici knows what kind of transfers Conte likes. Of course,
Listen, Shane Black is saying that have you got a YouTube open right now anywhere?
no, I haven't. I'm in my room. It's just my phone. My notebook is it's closed.
Right.
Maybe my
Is your
phone.
headphones, is it connected to your phone? Is it connected to your laptop?
It's connected to my phone. I think it's my parents because they're doing things. I'm gonna tell them to keep it down. Just a sec.
But no, it's actually an echo coming from your system itself. There's a major feedback loop going on.
Wait, let
Um,
me. I'll get the headphones off. Is it better? Or
you know
It
what?
actually,
No
it
more
is.
echo.
Yeah,
I
perfect,
mean,
man.
can you hear us properly, Tiago?
I can't. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can. We can
Great.
hear you clearly. Can you hear us at all?
Aces.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, brilliant. You know what? This is better. I mean, okay. I'm wearing these retro headphones, right? Yeah, it's kind
They
of
look
making me
awesome.
look
You
sick.
look like an old like punk man, like skater.
You know what's even worse, right? Yeah, is if I connect these headphones properly, then they do that. they,
Oh, nice.
they kind of light up on the side and everything.
They pulsate like with the beat. That would be
No, that's
cool.
just me connecting them and disconnecting them. Like it's not there.
Oh,
But that would be really funky if they had some sort of like side glowings that would like a graphic equalizer.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so
exactly.
so Sony, if you're listening,
We have an
side
idea.
equalizers on headphones is really cool. It's the thing now. Do
It's
it.
back or whatever. If it ever was there, it's
You know
back
when you're
again.
talking to people and they're on the train or something like that, and they've got their headphones on, you don't know if they're actually listening to something or they're not listening to something. And if this thing was glowing and doing pulsating,
Very
right? Yeah,
true.
you'd say, oh, they're busy.
They would also make an app though for people who just didn't want to talk to anyone that would display that even if you weren't listening to anything, just to fool
Okay, but
potential
Thiago, you were
weirdos.
saying, Thiago, you were saying about carry on.
Yeah, we interrupted you about Conte.
Wait, no, I lost where. Oh, okay. So they know each other. They've worked before, and they've won in Italy. They started the Juventus dominance. Um, Liking it or not, the facilities also help. Having a world-class training ground makes better for preparing the players, recovery, and training. Now, the only thing left is the most important part of all, the squad, the players. We need the quality in, and hopefully Daniel Levy will learn his lesson, and he's going to spend money. He's going to bring the players Conte wants, not the players that he wants, and he's going to back the manager. If he backs the manager, we're going to win trophies. If he
He has,
doesn't,
yeah, yeah, we won't. I mean, and he has to have learned his lesson, or else he's about to be embarrassed on a really, really, really big scale.
I was actually surprised that he sacked Nuno. I didn't think he was going to do that. I honestly thought they were going to give him time. I thought they were going to give him the season or at least January. I didn't think he was going to be sacked after 10 games.
Yeah, no, that's I I
I think it
fully
was
was.
very cheap. I think it was a cheap. I think it was his contract couldn't have been that expensive, right?
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I mean, if you take that into consideration, it was probably cheaper to let him go than for Levy to keep losing his reputation in terms of the guy's got a cast iron castle around him, that no matter what he does, including the ESL, that he's going to maintain his position and so forth. Um, but it got to the stage where people were inside the stadium shouting at Levy out. That news had gone to the news outlets that had gone around the world, and there was no way for him to hide.
And he's
So
a
a
prideful
typical
man,
person.
even more than like on a company. I know on a business and on a brand scale and level, that's huge. But even on a personal and prideful and like ego level, I think that hurt Daniel Levy, who's considered himself like a rightfully or wrongfully, he considers himself like a hero and like the champion of Tottenham Hotspur. Like he, you know what I mean? And don't you think he believes that? I think he thinks that he's like Christ come to Tottenham. He's revitalized the area. He's put this great stadium here. He's, like I said, rightfully or wrongfully, I think he thinks that. And then when everyone chanted Levy out, and didn't want him there, I think it hurt his feelings. I think he was hurt, and so.
He's definitely he's got a high degree of vanity. That video that he did, where they're specially made for him, where the backdrop and he's sitting at his desk, it looked like some sort of sinister villain.
Are you talking about
you
the
know,
documentary then, right?
no. This is the interview that he did during the summer, to say that basically that trying to make himself look good, and he had a back like it was in his office, but it was all darkened out.
Yeah.
Right, and
He's
he looked like
embracing
Doctor
he's
No.
embracing the Bond villain thing that everyone says about him. You can tell when he puts on those gloves, that people are watching, the cameras are watching. He knows that, and he's takes extra careful care to put them on real, I don't know. I think that he's swinging around, he's got I can't it's been 10 minutes. He's got that big dick energy, or he wants to seem like he's swinging a big one around. Usually those people that want to seem like they are
Looks.
aren't. So
I mean, over here, Shane Black is saying that basically Conte has only had like 2-3 training sessions. In fact, I think that's right, 2-3. I think he's had like the third training session, an extra training session with players that didn't play in the first game.
right.
So and look, he's saying over here that, and we look like we have a clear and direct direction. It's got M's in the house too. But
Scott,
Shane,
what
you're
is up,
absolutely right.
man? But no, but Shane is completely, yeah. Shane, you are 100% right. We are. I say it in every channel I go in. I've been like I feel like a big old echo chamber lately. But uh, we have a movement off the ball again. Tiago, wouldn't you say you've seen that? Like our movement off the ball looks so much better when we do have the ball. I see triangles. Like when we're past, like I don't know, everything seems so aimless. People looked very clueless, even on throw-ins for a little. It preceded Nuno. It was for the longest time, even on throw-ins, our players stand still and don't make runs and don't look like they know what's up or what's going on. And so just the fact that we looked more aware and hungry and we moved better was really.
I mean, the first 30-35 minutes against Vitesse, I think it might be some of the best football we've watched this season, or maybe some of the best football since the City game, or maybe the Villa game was actually had some good moments.
True, very true. The Villa game did. But yeah, I would agree. Mr. K, what do you think? I mean, do you agree that that was some of the best footballing we've seen? And I know we have to take into consideration opponent play and everything, and the strength
When
of the
it
team.
comes to attacking intent and ferocity of scoring,
Yeah,
we one second. I think that under Jose we had a few games where we looked really, really, really like threatening, and we were ripping teams apart. The combination between Son and Kane, with Hoiberg in there, it really gave us a belief that we could take anyone on. Unfortunately, as soon as he put Davis and Winks in there, we kind of flopped.
yeah,
So that's the problem with Spurs in the past, is that when we have those type of experiences, when we flop a little bit, it has like a morning after effect,
Yeah,
where the next few games have the same type of feeling. So yes, you're right. The first half of that game, the first 20-30 minutes, we looked like that. We very slick passing. It was, boom, 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 bang, boom, 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 bang. And Then as soon as they attacked us back and we got pegged 3-2, and then the second half we're holding on, and Hugo Lloris is coming out with some absolute world class saves. If he didn't do that,
as
we would have
usual.
lost that game,
Yeah.
right? So there was
Yeah.
something different in the players in that second half that didn't allow them to capitulate like we normally do. So now, if you fast forward to the Everton game, this is the type of game that goes 0-0 and then Everton gets a goal, right?
Yeah.
So
I
we would
oh you're
normally have lost
you're
that type of
speaking
game
fact
in the
there.
last 20 minutes. So there's definitely something there that is, what Shane Black is saying, that there's definitely something there that, it looks like a clear and direct direction
Yeah.
that the
It
team is
looks
moving
like
together forward.
there's a point we want to get to. Like, okay, we want to do this, and this. Of course, we still need to work on it. But it looks like, okay, the point of arrival is there. We want to
Right.
do A, B, C. It's not like Nuno. You look at the team with Nuno, and you just see nothing. No creativity, no movement, and just the same thing. Just passing the ball around close to the penalty area, and not really trying to do anything. We couldn't break teams down, and our crosses weren't on point as well. And I think that this is what we can be excited about. I think the first two games, Conte probably went for the safe choice. He didn't really have many training sessions to learn the players and to really teach the players, look, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. So he went like, okay, these players are the ones who are playing already. Let's put them in. My system is with three at the back. We got to throw in another defender. He put Davies. And I think that after an international break, we're probably going to see Kane and Son up top together. And we're going to see the Conte team everybody's excited about.
Yeah, and that leads
Just
me.
saying,
I have
oh,
the banner about the boner. How big is? I mean, I've got it, but I've got a Conte. I'm rocking a Conte boner right now. I gotta tuck it in and hide it because I can't go to work like that and stuff. School, that'd be terrible. Yeah, stop me when I'm. But no,
listen,
it's
can I just quickly ask the viewing audience out there, right? Yeah, if you could possibly like this video. There's not many of you out there watching it, but every little like counts. And if you are one of the regular type of Spurs viewers out there, listen, let's help Colin over here on the state side. Let's promote his channel a little bit. If you can, share the link to Twitter and so forth. Honestly, every little bit helps. We don't know where Colin is going to take his content creation. I would like to see where it goes, because obviously the more he does it, the more confidence he's going to get, and then we're going to start to really enjoy these type of things. So if you can share this on Twitter, if you possibly can, let people know right now that they can come onto the stream and have a little watch.
yeah. That's
If
actually a great point. You bring up a really good point, man. I meant to bring that up earlier. That's huge. This is free and open for anybody. Like I don't care who you are, as long as your name that you choose has either your username to an account or your real name. Because if you say something horrible and racist and terrible and get me in trouble with YouTube, I want to at least know who you are. That's my only requirement. But yeah, anyone can come on, and I have the on YouTube. I have the link pinned there as the top comment, and yeah, I'd love anyone to come on. We haven't even really touched on much yet. We've kind of just been doing the old you know the
you
old
know what it
chit
is, I
chat,
like.
get primer
I mean, the
out.
amazing thing here is that I haven't really been on that many streams with you. I think just one.
Yeah.
And Tiago, you know what? Your face is so familiar. I'm sure I've seen you somewhere on one of the streams or something. It's or at least heard your voice. Listen, guys, in case you wonder why I may go into a mute mode, it's primarily because I'm sitting in my kitchen, and my daughter and my wife is sitting there giggling about some sort of concert which is going on,
I
and at the
ought
same
to
time,
sometimes. I'm a
I
noisy
will
guy.
get I will get into a nicotine withdrawal, and I don't want to show myself smoking. So you might even see me
Oh,
like
okay.
click my. You might even see me do this right. Yeah. Actually, no, that's not very good because you don't actually know who I am there. But it's, I didn't prepare too well before I got into this show. I just kind of rushed into it. I was actually just going to watch it. But Scott M, Shane Black, you're always welcome to come on here. And any of you guys that are watching
Well,
right now,
Shane's been on my show before, and I've never had Scott on. I don't think Scott. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I hope I'm not. Hope I'm not. But let me know if I am for sure in the comments. And if you want to, please, guys, yeah, if you want to come on, That's the best part. I've had Aaron on multiple times. I was hoping he would jump in, and he could still be here in a bit. You know, he's kind of a night owl. Um, but if not, and if you watch this later, Aaron, what's up, Moosey man? I feel like you're not on Twitter right now. I don't know if I'm right in that
I'm,
assumption, but I
I'm going
haven't
to
seen
quickly
you.
find out if he's on Twitter right now.
I've tried to
See if I
message him
can.
on Twitter and it won't go through, but we haven't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
In that case, I give up. Then I was just about to try that. You know what it is? I
yeah,
tell you the truth. I don't think I've been on Twitter
try it,
for
try it.
quite
Make
some
sure he
time.
doesn't. Make sure
Look,
he
I've got
doesn't locate
untold
you.
amount of messages I haven't even read, but I wanted to share this video out to everybody that knows me on Twitter, and that's the only reason why I opened up the app on my phone. But I tell you the truth, I've been keeping away from Twitter. Sometimes it's just not healthy for you, especially for your stomach and
Spurs
your
Twitter. Oh
heart.
man, I have. I was just telling somebody I have stomach problems and a mix of Spurs and then this last. I'm in the last 6 weeks of my schooling, my degree right now, and so that's why I've been taking the break from streaming. But I've had a great week and I'm caught up for once. So
Don't you have like an assignment to deal with or
I
exam or
I,
something?
I actually got that completed earlier today, and so that's part of I'm sort of celebrating
Celebrate.
with
Well
the
done.
boys.
Well
You
done.
know,
Scott says he's going to be here in about 5 minutes, so that'd be
Scott,
absolutely fantastic.
that's gonna be
Scott
awesome.
doesn't
Thank
hold
you.
his Scott doesn't hold anything back when he has to talk, and that's what
Good.
I love about him. He's
Hopefully we
nice and
can find a nice little like healthy disagreement.
yeah.
Those are my
Tiago,
favorite.
I don't know much about you. I mean, how long have you been a Spurs fan? Are you the only Spurs fan in your family, in your community and group, or you
Yeah,
know?
I am. I started watching Spurs back in 2011, so we can say that Gareth Bale is kind of a guilty man for putting me into this mess.
Hey, yeah,
My
can't blame
family,
you there.
they like football, but they don't like. For me, in my case, it's international football. For me, Spurs is international. They know about Spurs, but mostly because of me. Most of my friends don't really know the club as well. Like the Champions League finals, celebrating alone, all by myself. Like when we got the Champions League final, they were like, "Whoa, okay, this team is serious. They are not like just any team in Europe." Um, Even I don't know really how I started supporting Spurs. It's kind of like the club chose me. I
I
started
was gonna
watching
say
it,
that's
and
usually a good sign. That's a good sign. It feels good.
yeah,
So
like
yeah,
all of a sudden I was watching and I was like, yeah, this club is nice, and I wanted to watch again and again and again, and now I'm
that's
here.
really what it is. That's a really good reason to choose a club. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons I've heard, and for people to choose Tottenham, and none of them are bad. I mean, any reason you choose anything is I mean, you make choices every day, and if you're choosing
Yeah,
Spurs, ultimately that's a good choice. But yeah, because you love the football and because there's just something that draws you to them
All right. So
is a
if you see
really
that
good
right,
reason.
yeah, that's me having a cigarette,
Oh
right?
yeah, but you guys, I have such a cool thing that's going on right now. Shane Black is here. What is up, Shane?
Hi, Colin. Hi, Mr. K. Hi, Tiago.
For you, I'm coming back. I was just about to light one up, but for you, Shane, honestly, I've seen your name in the chat so many times. Now I get to see. Now I get to see you for real, mate.
Yeah, we've been on Spurssuasion TV together,
Oh,
and
you're right.
I've been
We
on your
did.
show. I've been on your show talking to Kate a couple of times. So
Mr. Casey's
This,
a lot of fish.
it's an honor to be on.
Man,
this, Colin, you got a fantastic channel, mate. Listen, it's already blessed before it even started, and I think to myself, listen, I've seen some of your quirky little content creating that you've been doing, right? Yeah, which is not live, of course. You know what? I don't see enough of that in our Spurs like Spurs family group. You know, so I'm excited to see what you're going to do next, Colin. But
Yeah,
Shane,
thanks.
absolutely fantastic to have you, mate.
Buck's a legend.
Buck Funkley. He's
Buck
coming.
Funkley.
He's
Yeah.
coming back soon.
How's Tottenham, Mum?
She's great. She's actually going to. She's planning on joining. She was out with her friend walking. They go walking at night, you know, or in the evening after work. They do that whole like walking for exercise too. But anyway, doing that, she just messaged and said that she'd be on when she got home though. So hopefully we're all around. Everyone's around and she jumps on. She's It's always good to get her analysis of things. For once, she and I didn't watch the game together, so I haven't really talked to her about her thoughts on the Everton match.
Yeah. It was clear that Conte's got a direction, and we've got a way forward. I can see clearly a way forward. With Nuno, there was not that direction. You couldn't see if he was going to play defensive or he was going to play attacking. It was just all over the shop. I think that, yeah, with Conte, we've got a clear direction,
And we
which
have the
is
players
awesome.
to play to his direction. But not to interrupt, we'll go right back, but real quick. Scott, Scott M, what is up, man?
How's it going, guys?
Oh,
Hey, Scott.
Good.
it's going.
Shane,
It's
good to see you again. Mr. K.
Yeah.
Tiago, I don't think I've met you before. Nice to meet you.
it's
Nice
a
to meet
full
you
house
too.
tonight, man. So you're among we're all among friends too. It's good. I feel this is a cozy little group we got here.
Guys, can I ask a question? Do you think that a creative player is a role or an attribute?
Oh my God! Don't, Mr. K. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. If anyone is blessed enough not to understand that reference, we're gonna keep
Oh,
it that way for you. I think that it's honestly best. It's something from Will Stewart's show. He's also a great content creator. If anyone who's watching by chance doesn't already follow Will Stewart or watch his stuff, just go ahead and do yourself a favor and do that. I'm sure that all five of my viewers right now um, do watch. So, but still, if you don't, do you know? But I'll kind of jump into. I've got this here. Just your expectations for the season, and I'll kind of start things off. I honestly think with Conte here with Kane looking like he's apparently decided that he cares again and that he's willing to to put an effort. And I don't I when I say that Kane's down tools, I don't necessarily think that it's maybe even on purpose that he did it, but it's clear that he like lost motivation, and I think Conte being here will bring back that motivation hopefully. So we'll have a motivated Kane. We'll have Conte. Uh, we have a squad suited, I think, to playing the preferred formation, and I wouldn't be surprised to see fourth place and a cup. But I'm really optimistic, like always. And what do you guys think? I mean, we'll start with Thiago. I mean, do you think that's like am I being really like too optimistic, or I mean, is that
I mean, I would love to say we would get top four because everybody wants to watch Spurs in Champions League nights again.
yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's hard because you have three teams that are clear everyone else: Chelsea, Liverpool, and City. Everybody knows they're going to finish inside top four. And you have Man United. They have Ole, of course. We don't know when he's going to get sacked, if he's going to get sacked. Right now, it looks like they're going to keep him. So maybe we got a chance against them. But West Ham are playing really, really well. I watched their game against Liverpool yesterday, and they were very, very impressive. David Moyes is doing an amazing job. Arsenal, I don't know how. They're looking like a really good team again this season after a very, very poor start the first three games. They're looking good. Um, but yeah, we need to see if they're going to keep the momentum. But I
Right.
think the top four could happen. Of course, we need business in January, but I still think it's too big of a stretch for us. I think a cup is achievable. I think the Conference League, a lot of people were worried about Roma, but right now they're not playing well. They lost both games to that Norwegian team, who are not bad. They play really well. In Serie A, they're not doing the best. I think Carabao Cup it's close. We have to win only three more games to win. Of course, the opposition is not hard. Maybe we can win the FA Cup, but I do think that winning a cup this season is a real possibility.
So you think you think that winning the European competition is the most likely?
Um, I would say Conference League
Yeah,
because of the quality of other teams. I'm not saying they're bad, but on paper at least, we have a really good squad. And if Conte can get, for example, Kane and Son fired up again, it's not even Premier League defenders could stop them. So how will Moura beat us? They won't if we get them fired up. I think our World Cup can also happen, but I think it's harder because we still have West Ham, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, who are not easy teams to beat. And the FA Cup, we're going to have City as well in the mix. Man United will be in the mix. So I think if you look at the opponents we have, the Conference League is probably the easiest competition for us to win.
and I think you make really good points. It's stuff like that that scares me with Spurs. We tend to play to the level of our opposition. I think at times, and so some of those games against those easy teams spook me. But that's just me. Mr. K, I'd love to hear your expectations for the season too.
My expectation is in a different direction. I believe in that we need to cleanse some of the ghosts and skeletons that we've been carrying in our squad. Um, either one of three people needs to leave, two of three, which would be fantastic, three of three, which would be absolutely, oh my days, mind blowing. The first one straight away is either Winks. I think Davis is a little bit more versatile, but at the end of the day, I do fear when he's on the pitch. Winks, it doesn't make sense to me why that boy is still even in our squad. But if one of those three can disappear from our team, preferably Winks, it'd make me feel better. Give me hope that the club is going in the right direction, that they have the aspiration and that they want to go forward and win something. I don't see them really going in the right direction if they're going to be dragging along these players with them, right? So for me,
Yeah.
success is based upon us transforming our team into a real contender for winning trophies next season. So if this season we come, I don't know, seventh or eighth, we need to maybe hit the Conference League again. Maybe if we win that particular cup, then that might qualify us for the Europa League. I'm not too
Right.
sure what the
Yeah,
qualifying
it does.
situation is
It's
for.
I don't know where it puts us. You know what I mean in the scheme of like qualifying rounds
As far as the
and
league is concerned, I think that basically everyone has raised their game. So you're seeing, like for example, Brighton, in the top half of the table. In fact, they're ahead of us. You're seeing teams like Wolves, which had a good little run, but I don't think they can sustain it. So I think we can hop over them. You're seeing teams like, for example, Arsenal that are starting to get their mojo together. It's going to be very hard to try to overtake them. They're going to have to slip up somewhere, and we're going to have to take advantage. But our team has not shown in the past, or even in the present, that we can take advantage of when other teams around us drop. Right? We had an opportunity this weekend to actually do something about that.
we did, yeah.
We would have ended up maybe fifth if we'd actually won that game, not fourth. Good on West Ham. They deserve to be where they are. They've worked hard to get. They harassed Liverpool, and this is where Jose was saying in the past that we've got too many nice guys in our team. But right now, I'm seeing the players have this focus in their eyes, which I haven't seen before, because they were getting a little bit rattled by, or rather, Everton was trying to be a little bit more in your skin sort of thing, but they weren't falling for it. They were getting on with it. And that's kind of, that's one of the clear signs I've seen that our team is actually, there's something happening. And Bob Spur TV's in the house. Please piss off, Bob.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. Piss off and feel free to join in, man. I'd love to hear what you got to say. And I didn't do the thing. Oh man, I'm such a bad host. I'm such a bad host. Hold on, you deserve it. You deserve it more than anybody. New player. Hey, this is my mom, everybody. I'm sure you all know this by now if you've watched my show ever. This is my mom, Totten Mom. She's on Twitter now. She's officially Twitter official. What's up, Mom?
Great to finally meet you, Julie.
Nice to meet you guys. How's it going?
So we've got two immediately to my. I don't know how this works. Immediately next to me, we got Tiago, and then we got Mr. K next to him. Below that we got
Awesome.
below that we got Shane, and we got Scott, and then we have you.
Yay.
That's a roll call. That's everybody really. And
Believe it or not, this is the first time I've actually viewed your channel. I think I only subscribed to the other day, so I haven't had a chance to actually watch any of the videos so far. So it's a pleasure to meet you, Julie.
Nice to meet you. I've seen you on a few streams, but nothing I was on, just what ones I was watching. So nice to meet
Julie,
you.
what do you think of the match that we had recently with Everton? And your thoughts on that?
I have mixed feelings about it. I was hoping to see maybe a little bit more progress, but I think that was being overly hopeful. But I thought that the passing lanes seemed a lot sharper. There seemed to be a lot more intent to what we were doing. There was unfortunately just no finishing up front, maybe no delivery, no service up front that really needed to be gotten. But I thought there was a lot that to be hopeful for, a lot of improvement. So.
what?
Certainly not as dreadful as the game before it. So
Yeah, I try to forget that. Luckily, I was on a trip and I was out of town and I was with the Spurs supporters group, Spurs New Orleans. Sorry, and they were wonderful, great people. Treated me really well, just like I was, part of their family. But we had many drinks. Many drinks were consumed, and so that game's a little bit of a blur to me. But I think that that's a good thing. Had a good time. Blurriness. Conte's our coach. It's
yay.
pretty much how it all went for me. So it's like waking up. It's like waking up in the future, and world peace has been achieved, and it was good. It was a good thing. But yeah, the Everton match I thought was great. I mean, there were some things I noticed that weren't great. I don't know. I think people. I don't know. How do you think our defense? How do you think our defense was? What do you think of the defense?
I
Go ahead.
I think that Ben Davies actually played really well.
Thank you. I think
Reggie had a shocker.
Dude, I had this banner. I swear to God, I had this. I swear to God, that was already typed up before you said that. So yes, I'm in 100% agreement with you.
I'm the first to knock Ben Davies down. When he has
I'm the first and the last.
Yeah. I don't think he's a top level player.
Especially not a left back for sure.
But as Mr. K said, that Winks has got to go. Delhi's got to go, although he's going to be given a second chance to fight for his place.
Wait,
so how many chances?
You mean fifth or whatever?
How many chances does he need?
Yeah, more than I got fingers, probably.
But I think that Ben Davies can actually turn it around under Conte.
Wait, you think Ben Davies can?
Yep.
Yeah, I do too. At that left center back role.
Left center back role. Yep.
Yeah, he's a versatile player. He can play in a variety of roles, and he knows how to go forward as well. And if he can practice a little bit more, he can maybe time his crosses a little bit better. I mean, Scott M is probably the most critically analyst person that I know in a lot of the streams. He can probably answer that question a lot better than I could. Scott, do you think Davies has any redeeming features?
Yeah, I think he can have a role as a backup left center back. I think that's for sure. I think, to me, I honestly think what happened on the weekend is Ben Davies kind of showed us what he is. He's steady. He can have a game where he doesn't make too many mistakes. The issue that I will have, and if it sounds like a criticism, it's just he doesn't offer much more than okay, right? Yeah. Like he is limited, and I think we saw that, right? Like he probably would say that was a really good game from him, but he was probably like a 6, maybe a 7 if you're being kind, right? And that's about it. So if you're saying, does Ben Davies have a role? I think, yeah, left center back. He's there in the Conference League. He's there in the Cups. He has a role. And if whoever we bring in, because I think we do need a left center back. That's something that we really need. Whoever we bring in, if they get hurt, well, he can fill in. But I don't think we should have any illusions of him being a a Premier League starting 11 guy. If that's
I don't think I'm not under the illusion that he'll like certainly or suddenly become that standard, but I do think that we might be seeing him past the January window. I think there might be places that need attention worse, and I don't know what it's like with the funds available, and so it's possible we don't see that address until the summer maybe, and so we have a most of the season with Ben Davis in the starting lineup, which a lot of us would not have expected.
that
Before the
that
season.
would be a little concerning to me, but much better as a left center back in a back three than if he was a left back.
Yeah, there's more
it's
cover everywhere. Yeah.
much more comfortable. If you would told me that he was going to be our starting left back in a back four for the rest of the season, then I would be,
We would
angry. But yeah, left center back in a back three, not what I want, but much easier to take. Much better role for him.
He's a left-footed. He's left-footed, so that's why Conte likes him. He likes that left-footed, left-sided centre back. So if we're going to get a replacement, he's going to have to be left-footed, and he's going to have to be able to play in that back three.
And I don't know who that limits us to. I mean, I'm getting ready to try to do some little Google kung fu here real quick, and try to find out who's all. But Skriniar left-footed?
No, I think the obvious one would be Romagnoli from AC Milan.
Yeah,
he's left-footed. He can play in a back three.
I mean, an Italian clearly, just by his name,
and he's on his contract's up at the end of the year.
Gotcha.
So he's the one that kind of he's been linked in a lot of the people, probably because, like I said, he makes sense, right? He'll be cheap. He's left-footed. Conte's familiar with him, so it's an easy name to plug in because it does make sense. But he would be the one who stands out.
So it sounds like, what would you think they would value him at? Like, where would you think that?
I think it's 10 million or less because, like I said, his contract is done. They have at AC Milan, he's been passed by Tomori, and they have that Simon Kjær. Is that how you pronounce the Danish guy? So I don't think that he's in their plans. So I think 10 million might even be too much. You might be able to get him for less, right? Because he's out of contract.
Daniel Levy's licking his lips right now. That's who we're going for then, for sure.
And one thing I like about Romagnoli is that when he was starting for AC Milan, he was the captain. So he has the leadership that we've been lacking for so long in our defense, which is because Romero is a good defender. We know that, but he's not really that captain material kind of guy.
Yeah.
And if you look at the squad and the team, for example, the starting 11 against Everton, you could say maybe only Højbjerg and Kane. I don't really think he is, but only Højbjerg could be the guy that would see screaming around. And I'm talking about outfield players. And I think bringing in a guy like Romagnoli, who's experienced, is Italian, was captain, and he is a good option, left-footed, which is something we've been lacking for so long. I think he would be a really good option. Another good option for me, I don't know if you guys would like him, not as a starter, of course, but as a backup option. I think Tarkowski from Burnley would be a good option, homegrown. Is very solid defensively. Every single season, Burnley overachieves, and we're like, yeah, Tarkowski is one of their main players, and everybody's saying, oh, he should get a chance in the national team. Maybe if he gets a better club, a better squad around him.
There's all kinds of proof that once you move to one of the big clubs, you're in the national team. I mean, your chances of being in the national team increase, exponentially. But another player, I'm kind of surprised. God, is it Connor Cody? Is that the Wolves guy?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like now that we're back to a 3, and that's what he thrives in. He's a homegrown Premier League player. I think that's not a terrible shout either.
I mean, we do need. I mean, we've got Session on as well, right? Yeah, which is yet to make any form of appearance whatsoever. I mean, I have no idea what's actually happening with him. Is he out? Is he injured?
I
think he said he's coming back this week to training.
About him today.
Yeah, there was articles out. I didn't read them, but yeah, there were articles out about saying there's a good chance that he could work well under the system.
How he's back in training, or he was about to return. Like he's returning to training.
He's had injury after injury.
That Conte is excited about seeing him, and they think that he would work in Conte's system or something. But it's probably all conjecture from Ali Gold.
You know, one thing we've got to do, Colin, right? Yeah, is we've got to me in terms of expectations of what I expect
We
from
didn't.
this
No, we
season.
didn't finish. We just
But we
trailed
should
off.
really ask the bottom three over here, including Julie. Maybe start that way and work that way.
We'll
I
do
mean,
that,
totally.
yeah, and we'll throw that. I'll throw that banner back up too, just so that everyone what we're doing right now. If you're just tuning in, if you just happen to just be watching right now, we're talking about expectations for this season. I went ahead and said mine. I think that it's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I don't think it's impossible for us to get top four and a cup. Or like I think it's most likely that we're. And when I say cup, I mean just like a trophy. I think we're going to get. Um, I think we're going to win the conference league, and I think top four is not out of the question. And then we'll throw it down to you, Mom.
My expectation is I'm going to say top six, and that might be a little hopeful, but I'm still going with it. I really think that there's going to be a big turnaround after Conte gets his January window, and he gets to really form the club in his own, his image. But my big worry is that we're digging ourselves quite a hole to dig out of. The good news is everybody else seems to be dropping points here and there to kind of help us out. But I think that I had hopes of and it was unrealistic of a magical turnaround. Like I think I maybe expected us to play better than we did against Everton, but I do think it's going to be a dramatic improvement, and I agree. I think there's a trophy coming for our cabinet this season.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you on the trophy thing. You're being pragmatic and protecting yourself.
I
Which
want
is really
I
good.
want to have really big hopes, but honestly, as long as by the end of the season we're clicking along on playing Conte ball, and that we set
I just think
ourselves
I
up
just
to have a
think
great team next year, I think this season we have to temper our hopes just a little bit.
expectations. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's fair. And that's fair. You're probably being a lot more realistic than me. Like I said, I was telling them, telling the rest of the panel, I'm like always optimistic. I'm always hopeful. I'm always
Yeah.
sure that we're
Well,
gonna
I
win.
can be. I
I'm always sure
can
we're gonna
be.
win. I got to watch myself when I'm gambling, because anytime the Spurs play anybody, I'm like easy money. Like I don't. These odds are great for me. I'm gonna be rich later. So
I don't think it's going to take long for us to see a dramatic improvement, but you know, a dramatic improvement from where we've been is still maybe not as good as I would hope for.
yeah, that makes sense. I don't think Conte will settle for much less than great. But
Good.
but that I think I think that ends everything nicely, and moves us on over to our friend Scott, who's ever present in the comments, always there. Thank you, man. I would be talking to nobody sometimes if it wasn't for you. And so thank you for making me not a crazy person. But yeah,
No, I
what do you
love.
think about the season, man?
Um, in a broad sense, I'll say just my expectations is that we are set up. I think it's set up for next year, and I know that's not exciting to hear, but this
Right.
team needs so much work. Is what I would probably, if I'm being honest and realistic, my expectation is that I see signs that next year, we're progressing this year to get ready to really take advantage of having Antonio Conte as our manager. So I want to see some players come in. I want to see him getting a sense of who can do what, so that we know in the summer we don't have a summer like last year where we're buying for the future, or where we're saying, oh well, we don't have a manager, right? How many times did we hear that? Well, we can't buy anybody yet. We have to wait. We have to, right? I want a summer where we're buying exactly who we want, exactly who we need. So for the season, I think top six, that would be a hope. I don't have much hope for top four. I think that's tough. It's a tough season. Right? I think Chelsea, Liverpool, City. I don't see anybody's passing those three. They're going to be nailed on for top four. United has the talent, but they have Ole at the wheel, so who knows what's going to happen. But
They're,
even with
they're the
him,
ones
I
that I
think
think will be easiest to overtake.
I think he can. Brighton's having a good year. West Ham, as much as I hate it, they are solid. They're playing well, and Moyes kind of has them exactly where you'd want a team to have. Right, he's getting the most out of them that you can get. So it's going to be tough for top four. And then as for the cups, I think we have a shot. I don't see there's any reason really that we can't win the European Conference League right now. I don't think there's a team that's better than us in it. I know we've struggled with our second team, so it sounds crazy when we're not beating, we're losing to Vitesse and we're tying
We might
Rennes.
come across a bunch of farmers, though. You never know.
So we do. We have a chance to win that. I don't know. The Carabao Cup, as we saw last year, you can get a lucky draw. Who knows what can happen? You get into penalties. Anything can happen. So we could win that too. I, but yeah. So I mean, a top six, and if we win the Carabao or we win the ECL, I think that would be pretty much at the top that I could hope for. But more importantly, I just want to see those signs, right? Let's see. And maybe in January, hey, we have a great window. I'll change my expectations. But
And it's what all kind of hinges on January, and that brings us to last but certainly not least, Shane Black. What is up, my man?
Yeah, my expectations are quite basic. I want top six. As everybody said, I think top four's just beyond us at this point. What are we, 7 points adrift to top four? That's even we're 13 or 15 points short of top two. That's a lot to overcome, or top three. Sorry, that's a lot to overcome. I think if we can get into the top six, get Europa League next year. That gives us European football, gives us money. Yeah, I want a trophy. Carabao Cup is I think it's coming down to the crutch of things. I think there's a lot of good teams still left in there. I mean, and we've got to come up against a David Moyes West Ham that's firing on all cylinders. They absolutely smothered Liverpool on the weekend. They played brilliant football. But if we can get top six and maybe a trophy or two this season, that would be fantastic. I'm going to be a little bit a little bit out there. I think Harry Kane should be dropped to the bench for the next game.
You keep saying things that bring up what we're coming to next. That's actually coming up.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, mate.
He slows down our play too much. Yeah, he's world class. He's one of the best strikers in the world. Don't get me wrong. I love the guy, but he slows down the play too much. He drops so deep. He's got to be a Conte striker. He's got to be up there in the box. He's got to not come past halfway line.
So sorry. There's a comment here from a very good friend of mine, and he agrees with you as well regarding Kane. But no, and I agree too. I mean, the City game, the football we played was just completely different to the football we started to play when Kane came back, and I'm not.
He slows everything down. His sharp passing and his distribution that he had last year just seems to be not there. I mean,
that could be confidence. That could be. I mean, I
don't understand how a world-class player can have confidence issues.
Any human being can have slight confidence issues if you consider the fact that he's been there for 10 years and absolutely knocking it out the park every single season. And this season, he's obviously clearly been affected by what's happened over the summer and last season. I think Conte has turned around and said it straight. He goes, listen, everyone that you guys out there needs to be patient. He goes, even I need to be patient. I think after he made that statement about not being afraid, I think there's a slight bit of fear settling in right now. So I think, look, we can clearly see that there's something wrong with it, Kane. All of us can see it. The team can probably see it. That's probably why they're not passing the ball to him in the right time. That's one of the reasons why he's having to come deep. Davis can improve by listening to or going into the training exercises and obeying what Conte does. I think Conte will start to have an effect on the rest of the players, including Kane. Look, if we're patient and things start to improve towards Christmas, then he gets his mojo back. the team starts to get a little bit more confident, maybe success on the pitch, and also the training starts to have an effect, then I can see us going in a positive way, and this whole thing about Kane can disappear. But if it doesn't, then it's really time to part ways for everyone's good. Us, the fans, the players that are playing with him, because there has to be one team. It's Conte has made this
Yeah.
very, very clear. Not one person, but the whole team.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you make great
Agreed.
points, and I know that you were in Will's show the other day. We were slamming Kane pretty hard for like a multitude of reasons, and I know that I saw you in the comments, and I know that you. I just I get heated sometimes and emotional, and then at the same time, it also like I feel like you can't deny that he feels. Do you think at least that he
The
felt?
weight of the expectation of being
No, I just think he felt like he was
everything.
above. He was above playing for Nuno. I think that
I
he felt.
agree.
I think that he didn't think that caliber of manager suited his talent levels. And I kind of think that's ugly. No matter who you are, like you got to stay humble. You have to. For example, a person with Hoiberg's attitude would never have done that. That he wants to learn what he can from like everyone that he meets.
Yeah, but if you
And
give Højbjerg 10 years, right, yeah, and then the success of absolutely nothing, right, and the disappointment of losing endeared managers, then even people like Højbjerg are going to start to lose faith and start to down tools. It's one of those unfortunate things where that particular individual has his own journey in life, and none of us here and none of the fans can actually kind of feel what he feels, right? I'm very much a human first, and then a commodity, because sometimes as fans we say, "Oh, get rid of this player," as if they're a piece of merchandise
yeah,
that
or
we
buy
bought and
them.
put
I
into
don't
our
like the way
showroom.
that people say buy this player either. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I know that that's whatever that's like the terminology, but like
Sign them, not buy
acquire
them.
the yes.
Yeah.
Just like I'm gonna buy it. It's got kind of yeah, makes me a little okay. Feels kind of weird to say.
I mean the whole thing about him turning up on like an interview with Phil Neville, the timing of it was all wrong.
Well, he didn't
We can
record
all
the.
see
Well,
that.
I mean, yeah, and you know that he didn't record the interview. Then
The
obviously,
thing is, at the end of the day, it's like the excuses of what we can give towards Kane, they're going to fall on deaf ears because people have made their mind up. You can talk until you're blue in the face. You're not going to convince them. As far as they're concerned, Kane is dead to them.
I'm the type of person that can see both sides of things. I can understand. I can understand the anger. I can understand the hurt. I can understand the feeling. Like we've been kind of thrown aside, and it hurts your feelings. It hurts mine. I have feelings, and then I understand thinking rationally and thinking about pressure, thinking about uh, God. Can you imagine coming back to training after all that stuff went down, and you didn't move away, and you probably told he probably told everybody goodbye at some
Yeah,
point.
but isn't that the same thing Poch went through though? When he turned around and said, "Listen, I need to get rid of all these players. It's going to be a very painful rebuild." Painful. What does painful mean? Painful means that basically he's put his arm around certain players, built them up, trained them like puppies that have turned into lions, and now he's told them, "Listen, I need to let you go."
But that's the
And then
problem.
Levy turns around and does the dirty on him by not getting rid of any players, not bringing hardly any decent players in, and that has a knock-on effect to Poch himself. Then has a downward trend, and then as soon as he has a downward trend, right? Yeah, it's very easy for everyone to get on his back, and therefore people to pull out records and statistics saying, "Listen, for the whole year we would have been ended up in 16th or 17th." Those type of statistics, right? Yeah, they back up and reinforce whatever the narrative is in terms of what Levy gets away with. While we're concentrating on this, the real culprit is him over there. And it seems to me that our fan base, they lap it up. I mean, I went on a little holiday away from Spurs the very first time, and I come back and I find that all this like there's a major split in the Spurs fan base in terms of how they feel about Kane. And I think to myself, there's a certain loyalty that we're supposed to expect from the players, but are we not supposed to show loyalty back? Oh, he wants to leave, therefore he's no longer being loyal. But we've been speaking about Kane leaving for 3 years, though. So this is not new. So why is everyone acting like it is new? But you know what? This is a very volatile sort of conversation. I'd like to back off from that because I'd get way too passionate about the situation
I
because
like that
I'm
though.
looking at things the wrong way, sort of thing. Yeah.
But
I'll step in then for you, Mr. K, to let you back off. There you go. Yeah, I know you guys are having that conversation, and I was in the comments as well, and not quite as loud as you can be in the comments as Mr. K was. But the issue I have with dropping Kane is that we have no option. I don't. I know people were excited about the City game with seeing Mora and Bergwijn and Sun up front, but like I think Bergwijn scored 1 goal in 26 his last 26 games. I don't think Mora's scored for 22 Premier League games. Like I don't know how we're already struggling to score and we're going to put up two guys up front that can't score. Like that's the problem that I see. I don't and like the City game was exciting, but we had like 1 goal. Then we played in the was it the Wolves next where we had the penalty where the goalie they didn't the keeper he didn't need to step into Deli Ali. That's how we got the penalty, and then Sun bounced one in. Like it was we got the goals, but I don't think we were really creating much chances. And I wish we had an option so that we could drop Kane. But for me, the reason why I don't is I don't see an option that works for me, and that kind of sucks, right?
And Son plays better with Kane feeding him too.
And yeah, and there's the other thing. We don't have somebody who could feed Son. We also almost need Kane to be the guy feeding Son the chances as well. So
All of those assists he got, with the record last season, most of them, we can't live without those either. So
yeah, that's why some of the Vlahovic talk, like that's exciting because then now if we had Vlahovic here right now, then we have an option, right? Then we can sit him and we can play Vlahovic, or even if we had
and then we could play. And then there's
right?
other places that you could play Son besides one of those two striker roles. There's that opens up options because I think that if they play a two up top, which he wants to do, I think it clearly has to be Sonny as the other player. But I think that
I think Son is having a bad run too.
he
So
is.
it's just the way things are at the moment. Is that our front two or front three are not firing on all cylinders. Maybe that's because they're not getting the service from midfield.
We need an Ericsson. We desperately need an Ericsson type player that can move it through the midfield.
Is that a creative midfielder or a midfielder that's creative?
Sorry.
You don't get that at all.
Are we putting him in the position of creative midfielder, or is that the position of playmaker?
No, it's a joke that's turning into a bit of a meme. Like you've had to watch Will Stewart's. You were there, weren't you, Scott?
I was going to say, sorry, Colin. I know you said you weren't going to bring it up. I commend you for being able to stay on the stream. I was watching, and at one point I said to myself, I don't know who's crazier, these guys for going about it around and around in circles, or me for sitting here. I kept sitting there, and I'm like,
just closed for a while.
They're gonna go back to Spurs, and so I'm not gonna go. And it was fun, but
I gotta follow.
No, but the thing was, but Scott, you got to admit, right? Yeah,
followed me from that show.
Yeah, but Scott, you got to admit that for about half an hour, right? Yeah, we totally forgot about how crap our team was.
I guess, yeah, maybe I didn't want them to go back to talk about Spurs, but
Thiago, we haven't heard from you in a while, man. What do you think? Like the whole Kane thing. I know we've all touched on it a bit, but are you ready to? Is he full Judas status for you, or are you? Do you understand? Are you ready to give him another chance?
I'll definitely give him another chance, but going back to what Mr. K said, I think we need to give Kane some responsibility because after the Leicester game, we watched him hug Dele and Sonny, and we were like, okay, he's gone. We have failed you. The board failed you. We didn't give you what you wanted. You didn't win a trophy. Go on to win what you deserve. We were okay with him leaving because we knew it was time. We knew he wanted to leave. As Mr. K said, it's not something new. But I think that what hurt fans the most is the fact that he thinks he can act however he wanted, not coming back to training time and releasing those things in the media through his brother. I think it all hurt the relationship with the fans. a lot, and not
Yes.
only the fans, but with his teammates. Because there's an elephant in the room. You cannot ignore that Kane primarily didn't want to be here. And we were all talking about, oh, Sonny and Kane together, they're great. But you look in the last few games, I think it was against United, if I'm not mistaken. They actually had a little bit of friction between them during the game. They're not finding themselves. Against Burnley, Højbjerg was screaming at Kane, go and bend me, press him, press Burnley. I think it's more than only him not being
Could that
happy
yeah,
here.
could that be the reason why the Son Kane goal connection isn't
I
happening?
think
Because
so. I think it's also about toxic environment. You look at, for example, Nuno got sacked, okay, only for months. But still, in sign of respect, I would expect players to come out and say, yeah, it didn't work out. I'm sorry it didn't work out, only for months, very short, but it was a pleasure working with you. I wish you
I
all the
learned a
best for the
lot, blah
future.
blah blah. Yeah.
We didn't see anyone say that. I don't know if you guys saw it today, but I think it was Regulon who gave an interview, and he literally said, "This game against Everton yesterday, in other times we would have lost." He's saying like, if it was another manager, we would have lost. If it was Nuno, we would have lost this game. So the environment is very, very toxic around the squad. I think the Kane situation has a lot to do with it because I know Bergwijn hasn't been the best, but imagine Bergwijn working hard, trying to get into the squad, and then Kane wants to leave, does everything he can to get out of the club, and suddenly he comes back and he starts every single game, and Bergwijn gets
And
dropped.
plays so lackadaisical and doesn't, seem to be putting the a real shift in, and then these other people
Yeah,
have to sit on the bench and wait their turn.
yeah. And Bergwijn
Yeah.
every day with training, he came back when he was supposed to. He's working hard. He's trying to get his place in the team. And then Kane tries to force him to move out of the club. Clearly doesn't want to be here, but he still starts every game
Well, and
and he doesn't play.
Ndombele clearly wanted to go. And Ndombele told everyone, told the media, everyone knew Ndombele wanted to go. He showed up on
Yeah,
time. He showed up to training.
Yeah.
He gets slated all the time for being unfit, which is honestly just people not realizing that he has a very awkward gait and a very strange running style,
And an
um,
odd body style too.
and that I mean, and I'm kind of one of them. There's people that just start breathing hard as soon as you are exercising. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you're not an athlete. He's actually he covers some of the most distances on the pitch. I don't know. I just think that that's all
Yeah, but
the
here's the
eye
question,
test.
Colin. Colin, the question is right. Yeah, is that you're able to perceive this and understand it to a certain degree. Why do we have a fan base that seems to have an opinion about something when that opinion is completely 100% false and yet is perpetuated? Where are they getting this narrative from? And why are they passing it on as if it's 100% fact that they're going to create a meme out of it?
Well,
And it's
it's
not,
because
it's all
it's
around
easy
us.
to scapegoat. It's easy to you want. Why did we play bad? Oh, because it's because Nambele's unfit. He can't run. He didn't track. We were basically playing with 10 men out there, and it's just an easy. It's easy. It's easy to do, and like
Well, like
there's
currently, I feel like everybody's jumping all over Lo Celso. So that they
that corner. Yeah,
I
that corner
see
was trash.
issues.
We get
I
that. We
see
all get
issues,
that.
but I also see a lot that he's doing that's improving, and that's it's like, but
We've all seen
there
him play
seems to be
flaws.
these waves of everybody jumps on one player and they are the villain and they are and then you move to, and the bigger they are, the more attention they're going to get, and there's nobody bigger than Kane. So and he sure fed an awful lot of the narrative
Julie, have you
with
seen his last corner kick?
Mm.
I think the reason
yeah,
why
yeah.
often players get singled out, and Kane will be one, right? It's so much easier for us to say, "Oh, Kane's not trying." If he just starts trying, boom, we're ready to go, right? We're good.
Yeah.
That's easier to say than, man,
The
this squad
team's
has a
fundamentally
lot of
broken.
issues, and we need to add in like 4 or 5 guys because it's see it all the time in all different sports, not just right. So it's easier. So I think that's part of the reason too, right? We'll latch on. Oh, that Lascelles, so he's Ndombele is lazy. If Ndombele gets fit, then he's going to be world class. That's a lot easier
And
to say than, man, Ndombele might not want to be here. He might he
not
might
fit
want
the
out,
Premier
and
League.
then you have a real issue. But if it's just him being lazy, well, we can all fix lazy, right? That's easy to fix. So I
You
think
make a really,
sometimes that's what happens, right?
that's a really good perspective that I hadn't given a whole lot of credence to. That's good. That's a good one.
I think at this point, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say the narrative should be Levy out. Straight up, the narrative should be Levy out. That's our first narrative. Levy out. Brian Daigle harps on it all the time. You know, the legend Brian Daigle.
The root of all evil here.
He should be on. This is his time. He's hanging out with the wife today, I think. But
he's been away for a long time, so
I'll put out the bat symbol and see if the bat signal and see if he's
but,
about.
I guess right now my feeling is I believe so much in Conte and the fact that that I do believe that there's been a toxic environment, and I do believe that they're just the whole manager fiasco, and going of course back to Levy, but that the players didn't know who was going to be leading them. They didn't know what was going to be expected of them for so long. The Kane thing was so distracting. Then they came back, and then they started strong, but then they stumbled. And I think that they needed a really strong leader. And I think that Conte is going to be that. And I think he's, somebody has got to be. Colin will tell you, I get too emotionally attached to players, and I love them, and I don't want them to go no matter how bad they're playing or whatever. And I think that, Conte is a ruthless man to a certain degree, and he's going to go in and he's going to thin separate the wheat from the chaff. He's going to get the weak out, and he's going to only bring the strong along, and he's going to replace the weak with better players. And I think that I trust him to do that, although it's going to take a while. But so I guess I don't really know where my point was going, but that's what I've got to say.
I just wanted to throw something in there just with this Levy talk, and we're talking about the corner. See, to me, everybody is getting on Lo Celso for the corner, and it was terrible corner. That's fine. But that, for me, that represents, why is Lo Celso the one taking the corners? He's not really a guy that has done that in the past, and he's taking it there because we have nobody else. And that kind of goes back to Levy, right? We have nobody on the team that can take corners. We have nobody on the team that can take free kicks. How are we supposed to be this world-class, top-level team, and we can't even have we don't have players on the team that can do basic things like have a proper corner taker, have a proper free kick, people to take free kicks. But instead, everybody, like you said, they get on Lo Celso. And again, I'm not passing it off. It was a terrible corner kick.
Do people not do terribly at their job every once in a while? Are we all perfect?
I know I am.
Why do we not have a squad, right? There's so many squad issues, and so many of the things that we're bringing up are squad issues. I think, Colin, you kind of said it, if we had Vlahovic, we could have Son. Think of the options we have with Son. We have there's nowhere. Where do we have options on our squad?
We've only had a bare 11 for so long. If one of the players gets hurt, there's nobody else to come in. We have, we have other players, but they're clearly bench players. They're clearly cut players. We need and I guess my feeling about Levy right now is, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he brought Conte in right now for a bit, but he's got to back him. And if he doesn't back him, and he doesn't, and historically he hasn't, and he won't, but I guess, I'm going to still have the hope that something's changed, that he's, and I think I'm being probably overly optimistic, but that's where I guess I am with it. I guess I'm going to reserve judgment until I see what he does with this. And if he screws this up, there's no redemption.
Sorry, just really
Brian's
quick.
in the house.
I think the Conte situation is a win-win for us, because if Daniel Levy somehow, I honestly don't believe he's going to do it. If he backs Conte, we win trophies. If he doesn't back Conte, and Conte is going to walk and is going to say, no, I'm not going to stay here in this sinking ship where I don't get my players and I don't get what I want, because we know that he's that kind of a manager. And if it happens, we know who is at fault. It's Levy, because he's the one who's gonna go and say, okay, he wants that man. Fabio, go and get Conte what he wants. If he doesn't give Conte what he wants, Conte's gonna walk. We know he's at fault, and then that has got to be the end of Daniel Levy. because right now all he needs to do is give Conte the squad, and he has more chance than ever to make Spurs a successful football club. And if he wins trophies, if he wins the Premier League, if he wins the Champions League, his profit, which is what he loves, is going to be through the roof. And everybody's going to be happy. He's going to have his profit. The fans will have the good football and the trophies. If he doesn't back Conte, it's got to be the
what
end of
he
Daniel
what
Levy.
he's got to learn is that success is profitable. I mean,
Yeah,
the old saying, you got to spend money to make money, and he's got to get the crowbar out on his wallet and buy, and can't just buy stupidly. But I think that between Conte and Paratici, they'll, I think that we've got some people there that could at least give him better advice than what he's had in the past, but he's got to freaking listen to it. That's the big problem.
yeah.
I didn't want to cut anybody off, but I just wanted to say again, big up to Scott for being here. He's always in the comments, always.
Nice to see
And
him.
it was really
Big
cool
up,
to see
Scott.
him and have him like I almost said in the flesh, in the face. We could say in the face. And again, this is also another time to say if you're watching and you haven't already, why don't you hit the like and subscribe, guys? It's honestly it's the kind thing to do, and it lets me know that you like what I'm doing and that you think maybe I'm pretty. And you can tick that bell, and the bell will tell you 30 minutes before I go on. You'll know when the party's about to start. Put the kids to bed, hire a sitter or whatever. Hit the liquor store, and we'll get the show going. And we're gonna talk Spurs. And so yeah, just make sure you like and subscribe. That it fuels me. I need the attention and the positive affirmation. And so back to Spurs, Shane. You were who I interrupted this time. You and Jules down there had a nice little. You guys were killing it. So I hate
Yeah.
that I.
Just on Levy, I think he's after the chance Levy out. That was so good to hear. I think that he's put more faith in Fabio and Conte, so hopefully he'll step back from making football decisions. Hopefully he's got the message that our fan base is ready to tear him a new one. I mean, there are a lot of Levy inners out there. Hopefully they're getting less day by day, but what has he done in 20 years? One trophy in 20 years is just not good enough for a team like Tottenham.
No, but this disappointment of Conte, if like we said, we just have to. It sucks that we can't really. We kind of have to just sit back and watch the football and kind of do what we do as fans and track every move, every transfer rumor, every dissect every game. But I think until we see, I mean, we couldn't have ever gotten Pep Guardiola. We could have never gotten Klopp. We could have never gotten. Who am I missing? We've got literally the best possible manager we can get. We have like the best possible striker that we can get.
I don't know what you guys talked about before I got here, but what do you think the difference was over the summer until now? Why do you think he changed his mind and came?
Kane staying, I think, was part of it. Honestly, I think it's
Paratici, the message coming out of Paratici was that he was in a sensitive state. He just come out of a project, invested a lot of himself into it, and he was in a sensitive stage when he came out, and he wasn't quite ready to jump straight away. His mind wasn't completely set up for it. Now, that's the narrative that's given out. Whether it's true, not true, we don't know. We've assumed that Levy has conceded to Conte's demands, and that Conte didn't come originally because he had a high expectation of demands. So that's the expectation. Now, we could be all completely wrong, but as Julie's saying around earlier, that there's no point bringing him in if you're not going to back him. So I 100% think to myself that if you as a chairman want to, validate your position, then you have to start making the correct footballing decisions. Because you're brilliant at maybe getting property deals over the line, which are paid by us, indebted to us, but yet owned by his company. But when it comes to making
Gentrification.
footballing Levyland, um, but in terms of footballing decisions, if you are going to bring in a world-class coach, if you don't support him, now Paratici was asked this question about supporting world-class coach, as in Conte, and Paratici's response was interesting. Instead of just turning around and say, "Of course we're going to back Conte," we wouldn't be bringing him in. He fits into our model. We've got the best stadium, best training facilities. We're top 10 in the world in terms of affluent clubs. We're in the top 6 when it comes to the ESL. These are all recognizable facts. Of course, we're going to turn around and support our a manager the best way that we possibly can. What he instead said was, "We support everybody. The dinner lady, the ball boy, all those people that they put on furlough." Sorry, that wasn't support. Okay, fair enough. They're not quite so supportive. It seems that we don't have a track record for supporting a manager. And then Paratici is put into the spot of actually answering that question. And he did a politician answer. He totally deflected it and said, "Yeah, we support everyone." So I think that people like, for example, Stelios
He's
are
a coach,
saying,
by the way.
he's a couch. Sorry?
Stelios is a coach.
It's like, oh yeah. So he understands that basically all of this is razzmatazz, and the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So we're gonna have to wait till January. And then when January comes along, and we get one guy on loan with an option to buy. Obviously, not a world-renowned player, because if you have a top-class player out there playing for any particular decent team, they're not going to leave in halfway through the season. That's suicide. It's very difficult to bring in world-class players in January. So therefore, what type of player can you bring in? You can only bring in a player that can so-called be a strength in depth type of player. And considering how low quality our players are currently, it's not going to be that difficult to find one. The second thing is that maybe that might be the key for someone like Dele Alli to be loaned out with an option to buy, a bit like Foyth was. So I think that the way our club does deals, that's the only way we're going to get someone coming in January, is if someone's going out at the same time. And, is that the most practical way to get you to strengthen your team? No, it seems to me that you're financing first and the football is an afterthought. Now, obviously, I could rant about this.
I have a little thing to add on to that. We've got to be careful with the homegrown rule. If we get rid of Winks, Daly, Davis, our homegrown numbers have dropped by 3.
Yeah.
That's
why I think Davis will stay.
We've actually got to look at somebody like a Seamus Coleman, for example. I thought Seamus Coleman had a really, really good game against us Sunday.
Sunday.
I think he was probably the man of the match. He had a blinder of a game, and he fits into that homegrown rule. I think, isn't he Scottish? So for the Premier League, he's classed as homegrown. Even if we get rid of somebody like Dyer, that's a foreign player. Dyer's a foreign player because his first few years were playing in Portugal. So he's classed as a foreign player. But we've got to be very, very careful about homegrown rule. And I think Levy has got to register that in his own brain and say, look, I need to let go of the football side of things. I'll control the money. I'll tell you how much we can spend. You go out and get your players.
Yeah.
I really want to see Daichi Kamada. I keep harping on this name. He's a sorry.
Colin, I think you're on mute. I can't hear you.
That sucks.
Sorry,
Okay, well that sucks. That was embarrassing.
sorry. I just had technical difficulties.
I
Sorry.
did too. No, I did too. What I was saying, Shane, is that's like that's. I've heard you mention Daichi Kamada before, and I've never checked him out. So I'm. This is you really believe in him. So I'm gonna check him out, watch some footage because, um, you think he's the real deal. I got
Yeah,
to.
he plays alongside who's a Japanese player that we were linked with,
Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu. He plays along Tomiyasu in the Japanese Japanese World Cup side. I think he might even be captain. But he's fantastic. He's so good on the ball. He's big. He's powerful. Just a Conte type player, I reckon.
Yeah. That would be awesome. We need that. We need that a lot. I feel like that's what the club's looking. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the position that Kessie plays? Are they like similar
Yeah.
players at all? Okay.
Yeah. He's more of a box to box midfielder, but
Is he
he's
creative?
just
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
very creative.
He's creative though. He really is.
Very creative.
Well, then that actually might work out great. I mean, that sounds like the kind of player that Conte would love to play in his system. All jokes aside, we've got this running joke about our mid is a creative midfielder a position or is it or is creativity?
No, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I think they've been public out there, just in case they're wondering what on earth we keep talking about this creative midfield player, right? Yeah. We had a little chat on Will Stewart's THFC Rants channel about a debate whether a creative midfield player was an actual role that could be used on a football pitch in terms of tactics, or whether it was just an attribute of any particular midfield player. We all know what the answer is. It's an attribute, but some people are going to be pedantic and keep arguing about the fact it was a role. So that became an ongoing joke afterwards. So that's what we keep talking about right now. Just in case anybody's wondering why we keep mentioning this.
It's kind of rude to do jokes that we don't have other people. I was just going to say to Tiago, we haven't really heard a whole lot of your stance. Are you very Levy in, Levy out? Do you have like a huge? Are you kind of? I know a lot of. I don't think there's a whole lot of Levy in people. I just think there's a lot of people that don't know
what better is out there to take over,
and then just want to care about the football. Then, so I don't know, where do you fall in that category, man?
I am 100% Levy out. I don't like him at all. I think I do recognize some of the things he's done for the club and how he made the brand bigger. But first and foremost, I'm a football fan. I want to see the football side of things going smoothly. I want to see us winning trophies. Like my friends, they don't know what Spurs is, to be honest, but they know that we don't win trophies. And I'm tired of hearing jokes about Spurs that they don't win trophies. And what makes me pissed the most about Levy is that every single time he's made a mistake, the right choice was right in front of his face. It was clear the choice he had to make, but he always goes for the cheap choice. He always goes for the choice that, oh, it's the business side is going to be better. I'm going to get more money, but then it backfires.
Yeah, you're 100% right, man. We've lost out on I can name at least a couple transfers we've lost out on due to haggling about little bits of money. But enough about the ball.
Yeah.
Enough about the ball.
Jack Grealish, no Bruno Fernandes, no Dybala.
You go back further. We should have got Jean Matinho way back to Jean Matinho would have been quite the acquisition. We needed him, and we missed out on him by.
And just a quick thing, I'm sorry, it's my dad who came into my room. I think people saying about the creative midfielder, I think that what we really need is someone like Bruno Fernandes that is gonna score goals. Because today the only goal scorers we have in the squad are Kane and Son. And we need a midfielder that can create, of course, but we need someone else to score goals. Regulon and Emerson, they are far away from being goal scorers. They still need to develop into the wingback role. I think Regulon said in the same interview today, I've never played in a system with a back three before. The wingback position is something new to me. Um, so for me, that's what we really need in midfield. A guy that can also score goals. A name. I know that probably is going to be unrealistic, but a player we should look at, like that is the kind of player we need. In Nkunku from Leipzig. He has scored 7 goals and given 11 assists already this season. 18 goal contributions, which is something we don't have. Los also in 2 seasons has only 4 goal contributions in the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's nothing. And about Los Celso, the last point. What makes me pissed about Los Celso is that we know on Thursday when he puts on the Argentina shirt, he's gonna become one of the best central midfielders in the world. It's so annoying. The Copa America final, of course I watched. He wasn't the best, but he looked so much better. I was like, nah, that's not the Los Celso I watched the whole season. Argentina completely bossed the midfield, and we have midfielders like Casemiro. I know that Fred is, yeah, he's not good, but we have Neymar and Paquetá. We have these good players, but Argentina bossed the midfield. The Paul that is not playing for Atletico Madrid and Lo Celso, they completely dominated the midfield. And he never does that for Spurs. And I think that this is what makes Spurs fans pissed about Lo Celso because he does things with Argentina he cannot do for us. He's like Pogba for Man United. For France, he looks unbelievable, and everybody says he's the best midfielder there is. Then against United, he's just bang average.
You've hit the nail on the head, man. You really hit the nail on the head.
Hey,
I'm
Colin.
I'm going to mute your mic while you're not talking. I can do it from my end. It's just there's some noise coming through your mic, and we'll get that out. We'll get that all fixed up. We can talk about that afterwards and get that all fixed up so that doesn't happen anymore for you. Dude, I love what you've got to say, man. You're killing it, and you are completely right. I think on Lo Celso, he's frustrating because we all saw what he did at Batiste. We saw. We know there's a player in there, and it sucks that we can't really get a tune out of him when other managers seem
when he plays so well for his national team.
Yeah.
Hey, I hate to say this, but I got to duck out.
Hey, don't worry. Thanks for being here. Like I said, this is
Nice
very
seeing you guys. It was
impromptu,
good to meet some new folks. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Hey, see you.
Good to meet you. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, Jelly.
And so that brings me up to though another.
Oh
question.
no! Guess what? It wasn't Tiago.
It was Mom.
Tiago, you can unmute yourself, mate. Come back.
I thought it was me because it started raining, and it's like the sky is falling down outside.
We can't hear that.
No, it was all from my mom.
It was awful.
That's hilarious. I'll have to give her some grief about that. She's probably watching somewhere on another screen. So hey,
I thought it was my system.
Wow, Mom.
You don't know, man. That was killing my ears. Listen, while we got that sort of interlude, little break here, right? Yeah, viewing public out there, come on, like and subscribe. You know you want to. And if you can, if you're watching this in the future, write a little comment below. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. You make a great point, and thank you again for being here, everyone. All of you guys in the panel. Thanks for being here. Otherwise, this would just be a weird me talking to myself. Like you guys help everything flow. It's nice. It's nice to have you guys here. So thanks. And Mr. K, you're a legend. I've never had you on like my show. I've been on shows with you, but you've never been on mine. So it's very cool. Tiago, same with you. So my whole thing is I like bringing new people together, new Spurs fans. We all love Spurs. We all want the same things. We've all got the same visions. And that's our plan.
Tiago's now my new best friend. He said it straight. Levy out. Straight up. Not even
no
if,
question.
But maybe. Boom. Out. And here's the reasons. 1, 2, 3. You know what? This is exactly. It's like, and some people think it's a personal thing, where we personally don't like this guy because he's bald or something. No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with the fact that every time he's presented with an option to do the right thing for the footballing side, he's chosen 9 or 10 times out of 10 to do the opposite. Right now, it feels like he brought Conte in because his back was against the wall. Okay? Now, that I may think to myself, maybe that's not the reason why. It could have been simply the fact that Conte wasn't ready. Then he became ready. Paratici found out that Conte was ready, and then they brought him in, and they sacked Nuno because he was having 1 or 2 bad results. They could have sacked him earlier. They could have sacked him later. Bad results were always going to arrive. But now it's good for Levy to know how it feels like when the narrative's been twisted around a bit like it was for Kane. So, all's well that ends well in the end. We'll have to find out what happens towards Christmas. But yeah, Thiago, I absolutely love your comment, mate.
You guys, I have a surprise for both of you, for all 3 of you. Bob Spurs here.
Yes,
Yo.
Yes, Shane. Long time no see, brother.
Yeah, good to see you,
I
mate.
got a good crew assembled today, Bob. I got a good bunch.
Thiago, nice to meet you, mate.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, Mr. Cape.
Bob's kind of a legend. He
Piss off, Bob.
he gets around.
Hi, Bob. Piss off.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, Bob. I mean, what
Listen.
do you think? I mean, we've talked, I think, since, but Conte ball, we haven't really got to see a whole lot. We've seen the formation change. We've seen a little more attacking intent. I got the question down here. You can be the first to answer. Do you think we're going to see more? Do you think the team will have a more of Conte's brand, that more visible, influence whenever we play Leeds?
Yeah, first of all, Scott, piss off, mate. He's looking for a handsome ball guy. They've just had an upgrade, mate. So it's all good. Big up. I just think we just need. I just said just a few times in that first couple of sentences. I just think we need to calm down. We need to be patient. We need to be extra patient with Conte. We're finally getting a world-class manager in. I know Stell, and I think Mr. K said it's probably one of our best signings since the 90s. I really do believe it. Since Klinsmann, probably. He is, and we just need to go with his pace. Unlike a Man United, where they're buying in players left, right, and centre, and sitting back and thinking, right, which formation, which system do we play? Conte's not going to do that. He will go with a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3. That's his blueprint. He'll always go with that. He'll always stay with that. It's up right, and rather than sit there and work out the players who's going to fit into the system, he'll just work out who is able to play in that system. If you're good enough, you stay. If you don't, fuck off. I'm not totally for the whole is getting to know the players. You got to remember when he played Spurs in his last game against Spurs as a Chelsea manager, there's still 7 players from that squad. Still 7 players: Lloris, Davis, Eric Dyer, Winks, Ali, Son, Kane. And these are still people within the vicinity of the first team squad or in the first team. So I think he knows what he's got there. But he's not one of those who will sit there and look at the players and think, right, which format. He will play that 3-4-3, and it's up to the players to get to that level. And I include Kane in that. I include Kane in that. He needs to turn around. He needs to look at Conte. Conte ain't going to say to him, right, let me prove to you who I am, and let's see if you play for me. No, he'll be in the same boat. You guys know what my feelings are towards Harry Kane. Best striker in the world. He will come good. It's only a matter of time before he comes good. We can't drop him for a couple of reasons. A, he's probably our best match winner. In the last 10 minutes of the game, if you really need a goal, regardless of his form, he's the man you count on at Spurs. Secondly, we don't have any backup. I'm not dropping Harry Kane and bringing Scarlett in. I'm sorry. And I'm certainly not moving one of the best left wingers in the world to a centre forward position just so because our recruitment's been so fucking shit that we can't get any backup certain areas. So yeah, we can't take.
That's what you really mean.
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean, Shane. I mean, we have to say it how it is. Everton's performance was shit. There's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing wrong with saying, we're clutching at straws because we had a couple of good 1-2s and we looked, solid-ish against an Everton side without DCL and Decore. The fact we managed to keep Andros Townsend and Gray quiet, and Lloris had fuck all to do in comparison to the Vitesse game, I think there is a slight improvement. But all this stuff about we're not scored anymore, we didn't have shots at goal. This is a team who's lost 5 out of 5 out of 10 games this season, who hadn't had a shot on goal for 828 days or wherever it was. They aren't great, but I'll tell you what, Conte's what he's done. First 2 games, he's not only put out the same formation, but his same 11 as well. And it just shows that this is a guy who will trust people. He's got a formation in place. Nuno never managed to do that. Fucking Jose never to do it. And I'm gutted that Scott M's gone, because if there's one thing me and Scott agree with is how toxic and how overrated Jose Mourinho was. And he actually took us backwards. I really do believe that. Jose Mourinho took us backwards. We never had that. He never got us to win a must-win game. He never put a formation or an identity in place, and he made the place toxic. So, good riddance to him as far as I'm concerned. Yes, surprised he went 5 days before cup final, but I couldn't give a shit, to be honest. There's no guarantee he was going to win. Maybe slightly better chance, but there's no guarantee they would have won the cup final.
Look, Scott.
Well, there you go, Scott. Yeah. That's one thing me and Scott have agreed on right from the off.
You only agree on one thing?
Yeah, that is the final.
It's probably the only thing me and Scott agree on. But yeah, with Conte, we just need to be patient. We're going to have loads of 0-0s coming out, man. Loads of 1-0 defeats, 2-0 defeats, or whatever. Nothing's going to happen. In January, I'm a bit like you guys, probably bringing a striker. Vahalovic is a must, hopefully. But we don't know how Levy and Enoch are going to perform. The big one.
We're going to pay the 80 million. Well,
that's it, isn't it, Shane? It's what assurances has Enoch and Levy given him. He's not a big spender as well. We've got to remember that. Conte isn't a big spender. With Paratici at Juventus, there was a lot of free transfers coming in. He buys the likes of an Ashley Young and turns him into a left winger, left wing back. He looks at Victor Moses and turns him into the best right back. Big up Swift. I'll piss off. But he gets Victor Moses and turns him into one of the best right wing backs in the country. So it's all bringing Conte in means fuck all, and Mr. K agrees with it. Means fuck all, man. If Levy and Enoch aren't going to back him as he wants. His blueprint is solid players in quick success. He's not going to be here for another 6, 7, 8 years. We're not going to get another Wenger or a Ferguson or even potentially even a Poch. But what he will do, if you back him, if you follow his blueprint and totally give him what he wants, he will win us trophies. It's not in his me being patient with Conte is totally different. Me being patient with Nuno. Nuno was a mediocre manager from a mid-table team playing pragmatic football, and he's average. And that's exactly it. How his tenure finished at Spurs: 5 wins, 5 defeats, right down the middle. It's not
bang average, just like you expected, man. Just like you were.
Yeah, that's what I like to expect. He was out of his depth. The game, the football club was too big for him. But with Conte, I believe and I trust him. The only people I don't believe is Lenik, and it's up to them to back him to the hilt. Because if he doesn't, if they don't, I think Mr. K said it. If they don't back Conte, no one's going to a 3-0 defeat at home against Man United under Conte 3 months, 4 months down the line. No one is going to be looking at Conte and wanting him out. They're all going to point at the board and say, "Get the fuck out of it." Because we trust Conte, and
but I think that's a great sign, because the board, if they're not fucking stupid, and if we can understand this, I would hope that these fucking multi-millionaires can understand too that they are putting themselves up against a wall here, and they make the wrong move and they are getting fucked against that wall, and it's not going to be pretty or pleasurable, or it's not going to be there. No, cigarette and cuddle afterwards. It's going to be like bad, and they have to know that. And so I think that's good for us fans. I think that's maybe a sign that the dude's actually going to behave in the way that he should have been.
I honestly mean I reckon he literally, you know, when people say literally, it's one of those, but I think he literally pooed his pants. I think a bit of plot came out when he heard those chants
just a little,
of
like
leaving out.
how
I
much poop? How
honestly,
much poop do you think came out? Stop me.
a,
I'm big
a,
on this. Stop me when I'm there. Is it this?
a pebble shit came out.
Okay, so
He
like,
could roll around in his pants without actually going anywhere.
okay.
I honestly think a bit of poo literally came out of him when he heard
like this
leaving
much,
out.
like you said. Like
For the,
if anyone wants to, like, it was only
No,
Turtle's
I
head.
think
Turtle's head.
I think a lot of people don't understand that Levy is such a control freak behind the scenes. And the image that he puts forward through the media and so forth, he makes himself look like a fatherly figure, a savior figure for Tottenham. But in reality, he's quite controlling. And when he's in the stadium with thousands of people that he literally cannot control, because when they're all chanting Levy out, you can't turn the microphones off. You can't stop the commentators that are reporting on the game from not hearing it. The people that are not shouting Levy out can hear a chorus of it, and the size and the volume. I think to a certain degree it was a threshold moment because we can see the consequences of it. And Paratici can make all the excuses he wants in the world that Conte wasn't ready, that he was emotionally not ready. Well, excuse me, why is he entertaining negotiations with Tottenham if he wasn't ready to come back into football? You know, he should have said it from the beginning. There wouldn't be no conversation. There'd be no negotiations. The negotiations lasted, what, a week?
right, yeah.
Alistair Gold was saying the deal is done. You know,
which is
and he
rare
gone on
for that
holiday.
guy.
So this is another one of those. You know, when you watch these type of narratives that come out that try to make excuses as to why something didn't happen or did happen, they always try to shine a light good upon Levy. And the thing is, nowadays,
Don't forget the timing of it as well, Mr. K. Don't forget the timing of it. The whole Conte thing came about just a day or a week leading up to season renewals. The day it was over, finished. We're not taking him in because we only want 4 of his 7 members of staff. Now we see about 27 staff members, and Ryan Mason, to be fair, has been brought onto that as well. But there's been so much emphasis on diet, stamina, fitness, physical conditions. Ndombele's getting his own. So that's another bill on top of his 600 grand, whatever he gets. Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to pop out. Sorry, guys, I'm going to pop out. I'm going to pop back in. I'm going to do a little walkabout to the shop and back, right? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll do K on walkabout. So you'll see me like walking down the street and stuff. Okay.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people. Skate. There's one thing before Shane goes. There's one thing that people keep asking from me back. Remember when you were on the bus? And it was a deadline day, and I was saying, Mr. Kenny's out and about looking for signings, and you're just getting random people going, "Do you want to sign for Spurs?" You know, we need to bring that back. We need Mr. K on the road, and you ask weird questions. If you got your earpiece in, I'm going to ask you weird questions to ask the public. Like, so see how
you're on. I'm going to go and start that now.
Get a Spurs fan and ask him what he thinks of Ricky Mustard or something like that, and see what they say.
And all you viewing public out there, if you're watching this right now and you're actually enjoying the content of it, please do subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely fantastic. Colin has got far much more content coming out. Very creative person, other than the live bit here. And if you're enjoying this, please do click a like. It's absolutely free. If you're watching this in the future, write a little comment. Put your 2 pence in.
Don't
make me feel happy.
Yeah, don't be put off by the fact it's ginger, because that's ginger.
We can't help it. We have more Neanderthal DNA in us than the average human. Where it's really not our fault. You should pity us, if anything.
He's one of the good. Yeah, he's one of the good gingers. Sorry, Shane.
After the Everton game, we saw the warm down last for over an hour.
Yeah,
which is showing intent, but the fitness is not there. The players didn't have the faith in Nuno. Nuno weren't getting the most out of the players. The Everton game, we run the second most distance in the whole season.
Yeah,
you know. He's put that emphasis on fitness, on training, on getting his philosophy over to, put across to the players. I think the players have, got that boner for Conte as well. So
We were talking about how big is your Conte boner? Now that we mentioned that, Bob.
Are we comparing sizes now?
No, just how big of a boner do you have for Conte?
Mate.
Stop me.
Hey, listen, all 6 inches, mate. All right, 6 inches.
All of it. Let's say it for him. Hey.
I truly believe that, Levy has brought Conte in to appease the fans, which is fine by me. But he's put another, a person in front of him, to shield him from the awful truth. As Bob was saying, yeah, he had a bit of a rabbit poo when they all chanted, Levy out. I hope we keep that up and he realizes just because he brought Conte in doesn't excuse him from all the negative, all the bad shit that has been done over the last 20 years.
100%. But I think there will be that element. I mean, the amount of tweets I got, Shane, after Conte came in, and you guys know I've been so prominent about Levy out within the YouTube world, and Daigle's been more of a physical presence since while he's been here, and so many, and Daigle did as well. Oh, are you still Levy out? Ha 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 ha. I'm like, well, with all due respect, mate, we're not fucking stupid. We know we've got a world-class manager in. We know he needs to be backed. Me standing outside the stadium going Levy out right now makes me look like a pure dickhead. He will be Levy out. He's got it on his shoulder. He's got it right behind him. Levy Edic out. But he's done the ballsy thing by bringing in Conte, and everyone's eyes are on him. If he fails in January to back Conte the way, and Conte ain't going to bring a Sarr in, Conte ain't going to bring a Gill in, Conte ain't going to bring a young, even Dele Alli. He's not going to bring in. He's going to bring in the likes of a Halovic or a Kessier or a Brella, who's obviously signed a contract, or a Skriniar. These are his players. These are the players he's going to bring in, or potential other good free contracts. So it's all a case of we're waiting. And I tell you what, if he doesn't perform in Jan, Brian Daigle's going to be back, and certainly all the YouTube community.
Well, I'll be there for part of January, so we'll watch the transfer window.
Daigle's in the house. Big up, Daigle. Love you, man. Miss you. We've got the Toronto there. Toronto flag representing you, man. Big up.
I've said feel free to jump in. I understand if you can't. I know I saw you were hanging with your wife today. Hope the movies was fun.
You watched James Bond today? Him and his.
Oh shit! Yeah. I gotta.
Yeah.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Look who it is!
Yay! It's back.
Another fancy once in one show.
Couldn't stay away. It's fine. I get it. The ladies tell me similar things about me. So,
well, that's why I had to come back for the ladies, because I know they.
That's it.
Getting a treat.
You know that Bob 6 people watching are all ladies.
There's a couple of ladies of the night. If you want me to ask them.
Yeah, ask them who they support. Go and ask them who they support.
Yes, please do.
Dude, you never know. Their pimps might come out and have a go at me.
Mate, you look like one. You're fine.
Watch out for the Park Lane boys. I had an experience with them when I was there.
There you go, Cole. Your next show, street walking, curb crawling with Kate.
I want to do me and you, Colin K. That'd be awesome.
Tiago's just got back on thinking, what the fuck's going on here? Love you, brother.
I had to move. I'm literally in my kitchen now. It's because my dad is right next to my brother's room, and he needs to wake up really early to work tomorrow.
Your brother doesn't want to hear this conversation, man. Trust me, your brother doesn't want to hear this conversation.
You're being a good guy. You're being a good guy. But look at this. I just had to show the Brian Daigle love for Bob.
Yeah, big up.
it's bordering on like legitimate romantic love,
Romance.
which is fine. I have
Oh,
no
well,
problem.
I'd marry Daigle if it was if I wasn't straight and he wasn't straight.
Would you
And
just marry each other? Could you just marry each other for like the tax benefits and because you're
yeah,
both
oh, that's a
friends?
good idea. Yeah, yeah. In fact, yeah. That's a good idea actually. And I'd get a green card for Canada as well.
You should just say you're
Yeah,
some religion that allows you to have like multiple spouses.
yeah. I'm sure we can convert just for the sake of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you really probably could. And
Yeah,
we had a. This is a great idea. We'll talk more later about this. But
yeah.
back to Spurs. I don't know, Scott. Did you have like did you come in because you had something you had to say, or were you just like, oh hey, I have more time?
No, I just
Scott,
came here, so I
let me
didn't
ask
have
you,
to do
Scott.
any.
Let me ask you, Scott. Do you think would be in this? Maybe it's just me and my not hate, but dislike and the fact how much of a waste of time I think the Jones era was. But do you think he took us backwards?
Yeah, I think for sure because we how much time did we spend trying to hold on to something that was clearly gone, right? Like we were trying to hold on to that Poch team that we could, but it was gone. We saw that. And we just far back are we set back by just trying to hold on to all those guys when we should have been moving them
That's
on.
why I was
We
surprised.
should have been
when we
moving
sacked-
forward, and we just stayed. And even look at like what was the big transfer window we had with we brought in all those guys and we're replacing them,
but
right?
seven
Doherty's
players,
gone.
yeah.
They're all.
Yeah.
It was such a big transfer window. Oh, we got great. Everybody was happy, but we were moving on from most of the guys there, anyways. Trying to fill those spaces. So yeah, I know what you were saying. And I've said so many times that I'm not going to get triggered by Jose anymore. And then the other day, I was in the chat getting in another big argument there. But yeah, I don't know how people can say that he didn't take us back.
Oh, he definitely did, and he used us. He used us. If people ever say Gareth Bale used Tottenham, that shit pisses me off. A, but B, if you're gonna say that, then Jose Mourinho used Tottenham like a $2 whore, and then didn't pay her afterwards. Like,
wait, you talk about $2 whores, right? Yeah, trust me, the girls around here, right? Yeah, they're not. Honestly, God, I'm not joking. You just think there's some ugly women standing next to a wall. No, they're actually out for business, bro. Anyway, enough about that. There might be some young people watching.
hey, if you guys are, you know that when you grow up.
Tiago's watching that thinking,
right, listen, you got to check them out from behind me, right? Yeah, because I'm just too, like, I feel a bit too bad. It's right in the corner right from my street. But basically, it's outside almost a church center. Right?
Oh
my days.
Go on, Tiago.
It's because I have to leave right now. But I just want to say it was a pleasure being here with all of you guys. I hope I have a chance to come on again. And since Mr. Daigle is in the chat, I'm gonna get inspired by him, and my last words will be "Levy out." Bye, guys.
Thanks for being here, man. Definitely
love
have
meeting
you
you,
on
mate.
again. Thank you, sir.
He's obviously seen the show going downhill, and he thought, "Fuck this, I'm out of here."
he knew we were just getting into just being crazy. Real quick, just to really change things up. Everyone, I want to see. How do you pronounce this guy's name? How would you pronounce it? This is a little game. I'm thinking of adding this.
I'm just about to try. I can't do it. Is it Grub Kretz?
Grub Kretz, yes, probably. Kevin, is it Kevin?
Yeah. I would say Grub Kretz as well. So my new plan is I'm gonna learn the pronunciations of hard player names, and then that's gonna be a part of the show, the game show. But that's all stuff. Now the public knows, but no one's watching, so it's okay. We're 2 hours in.
If you're ever in East London, right, yeah, and you want a decent chicken, right, yeah, this is the place to come. It's called Lakers. They used to be known as Dixies, but now they're Lakers.
Are they Spurs fans?
Mark says that he knows some of those girls.
Yeah, he probably does, man. He's a
my favorite chicken spot. Whenever we went, we stayed park on Turnpike Lane, like right by the entrance to the tube. I'm trying to remember. That doesn't probably give you enough information. But anyway, it was kind of a cool, rough area. I liked it. It reminded me of home. Anyway, there's
Is he a Spurs fan, Mr. K? Is he Tillman a Spurs fan?
Select Chicken was the name of the place.
No, they're actually Turkish, and they support one of the Turkish teams, Faberneshe or something like that.
Galatasaray.
Sounds like
Yeah.
an egg.
Galatasaray.
I got a Galatasaray jersey.
Yeah,
Fenerbahce.
Galatasaray.
We can make
You
him
know what?
mad.
Let me ask him. You know what? Since I'm here, right? Yeah. Since Mr. K is
Tell
doing,
them
doing
their
a live
live
walk along, right, yeah?
2,800 people.
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly just do it, brother. Quickly, quick question. I'm on a live stream right now, and
2,800.
a lot of the guys are asking, "What team do you support in football?" Fenerbahce. I told you. I told you.
Nah.
Yeah.
Why not Spurs?
Hold on. Have you heard of Tottenham, the football team?
Oh,
Trust me, we're well renowned.
I
oh
was gonna
man!
say, you gotta get out of there. You gotta get out of there.
Last time,
Got to have a little poo in his like fucking equipment room or something.
Mr.
Right.
K was almost getting in a fight on the bus last time he was on here. Now he's
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
in a fight. Is going to be.
I wouldn't fight. Hey,
That's
I
his
wouldn't
new
fight
thing.
him. That's all,
Fighting
Mr. K. I just
random
want to say,
people.
I definitely wouldn't fight you, man.
not with that.
But you guys, I think I'm gonna call it. It's been a great one. I'm really glad to be back in the game. I jumped off the horse, but I grabbed it, just jumped back on the saddle. Shane, I was telling everybody, I'm bouncing. I think I'm calling it tonight. This has been a great chatting shit. We've chatted a
Can
lot.
I just ask one question?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've spoken about it, but how long do Man United persist with Ole? Why they persist with Ole?
that's a
Is it
wonderful
legendary status? Is it purely down to
There's no
legendary
one else.
status?
There's no one else, Bob. There's the market for managers is so shit right now that I think that's saving him.
Do you believe all this? Oh, there's no way would have gone for Conte anyway. I don't believe that.
No, they were after Conte. They were probably speaking with Conte like when we called him. You know what I mean? Like it was like that. Like they also, man, Mr. K, I can't wait to come back to London. You're making me so happy and so excited. I love seeing this video. I'm gonna make.
I think they stay with him all year because I don't think anybody is running that club other than looking at the financial sheet. I don't think the Glazers care.
Solo right now. We're just.
They got rid of. They got rid of Woodward, who was a bit of an idiot, but at least he kind of knew what was going on. And I think as long as they're making money, maybe if they go out early again in Champions League, maybe then they'll be concerned because that's money, right? But
that's a good point. But they're just the options to take over in his stead are few and far between.
They'll persist with him. They'll persist with him until probably January, maybe late December, and see who becomes available because other managers are going. Look at is it Smith from Villa?
Yeah.
Got the axe. You know, they're talking Steven Gerrard for the Villa job.
Yeah.
You know, that'll be. You know, I can't see him leaving Rangers, to be honest. But
no, he's
got.
I think Lampard might go to Villa or Norwich.
Really?
Wasn't Terry already at?
I think Lampard is a better fit at Norwich because that's a team that might go yo-yo up and down the league.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good shout.
Fonseca and Villa just seem like a good fit for me. Don't know why, but I think Fonseca's and Villa just seemed like a right fit.
Fonseca seems to be kind of like the hot name. Wasn't he linked with Newcastle for like maybe?
Yeah.
Do you think he would be this big of a name if he hadn't been linked with us?
I didn't talk about that. Eddie Howe at Newcastle. I think that's a great acquisition for Newcastle. Great.
For where they are right now, I mean, he's not going in there for 10 years. They're going to spend all their millions to take him to the next level. I think he's one of those who will come in and say, right, if we get relegated, I want this assurances. He's likely to stay. I mean, I know Benitez surprised everyone by staying, but there's more chance of a Howe stay with Newcastle if they get relegated than a Fonseca or a Gerrard or someone else. So I think he's been brought in to hold fort till they start bringing in the players, and then I think they'll look at the bigger names.
He'll keep the seat warm until they can build up a big enough. He'll He'll be in
Well,
there,
but
have them play
he'll
an
build a
attractive
foundation.
style, and then
Yeah, he'll get the players playing a certain way. He'll build a foundation. He'll get them playing like a proper football club.
He'll do a
You-
Marquise role like Marquise did at Man City before they brought in the bigger names. So I think he'll do that. He'll come. They'll spend a bit of money. There's no doubt they'll spend a bit of money. But once they've embedded one or two or three or four high caliber names, then a high caliber manager.
Do you
It's
think
bad to come.
Do you think Ronaldo's got anything to do with Ollie staying or going? Do you think Ronaldo has a lot of say in Manchester United at the moment?
I think if he started to kick up a stink, that maybe that would be enough to get people to pay attention. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how much this.
I think
I don't want to say
he
he
understands.
cares, but I mean, I think if he really was worried about what was going on, he would have been pushing to go to City, right? If he really wanted to be winning titles and winning and competing in
Well,
Champions League,
then
I
why
think he
didn't-
would have
I don't
kicked up
understand
a.
why he didn't go to City. In all honesty, just because of his past connections with United,
Yeah,
and it would have been
100%.
like,
Man United bought him because they felt like they had to, not because they wanted to. I do really believe that. But mate, who's going to turn down Ronaldo? We were fucking linked with him. We were jizzing off. So there's no team in the world who can turn. But unfortunately, they've just. I mean, I feel for Jordan Sancho.
Me too. Oh my God, me too, man. He was touted as the next big thing. I mean, was getting tons of game time. Was killing it with Dortmund. Was looking like an absolute stud. And then yeah, well he did make it into the England national team directly after getting his transfer, which was kind of weird. But yeah, now he's doesn't get any game time, and I mean, how's a player? We say that about our own players too, and I mean that's a good thing to bring up. Without consistent game time in the same position consistently, like over, you're never going to iron out mistakes. You're never going to be elite. You're never going to be, and we have so many players that we don't give that opportunity to. You can't expect your backups to be elite for that reason because they haven't been able to be, you know what I mean, to be constantly playing and ironing out like the little mistakes. And I think a lot of our players would benefit from consistency, and I think we'll get that from Conte for what it's worth.
Yeah, 100%.
Just before you go, I know you're going to wrap this up. The international break. Do you think that's good for the players that are staying home under Conte? Do you think he's going to work on the players that are staying at home, and we're going to come out, fitter, stronger, better in when the season kicks off again?
Yeah, he likes 11v11, doesn't he? On the training pitch, it's been known that he's played that a couple of times, so he could start 2 11v11s or certainly one 11v11 side. Yeah, it's up to, but I keep on saying, Shane, I'm sure you agree with it. It's up to the players now. Conte doesn't need to sell himself. He doesn't need to make any statements or a mission statement or big himself up. You know what you're getting with Conte. You know how he works, what he expects. It's up to the players. Now it's up to the players who are staying behind to show Conte, look, consider me. The likes of a Bergwijn, look, play me at wing back. Let me show you what I can do. And if I'm shit, I'll see you later. Well, obviously Doherty's, but anybody else, and then Dembele, a Winks. Let them all show what they're made of. There's only so much you can show in training,
cameo,
in a play situation, but in a playing situation. But what you can show is determination and the will to fight, and show you want to be part of his plans, or certainly in his mindset when he's picking that first 11 and subs on a match day, and they can use that to the best advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it should be. We only have maybe 3-4 guys who should be nailed on starters.
Yeah.
I think Romero should be. I think Sonny should be.
Kane,
maybe even. Yeah, I think he probably should be now, right?
Bergwijn,
Reguilon maybe because we don't really have
either.
any other left wing backs. Romero maybe, but You know what I mean? Like there's so much opportunity here.
I think
Yeah.
Lloris as well. Lloris as
Well,
well.
Lurie,
And
sorry.
what you can do is
everybody always forgets him because he's just like I feel bad.
what
But
you
how
can
many
do
times
is
I've
you can
seen people
drill
forget
you can
Lurie,
drill the
forget.
rest of the team in the style and the formation and the tactics, and that way whenever the players come back from international duty, even though they haven't been doing the drilling, they'll be surrounded by players who who know the system. You know how much easier just whenever I played, if I didn't know what the hell was going on, it was really good to have a player next to me that did. And I think that is going to it'll obviously rub off. Yeah, I mean I keep saying Nuno. That's crazy. I guess it's just such a big thing. Conte has to be using this time to drill in his philosophy, and we know he will. If we know anything about that guy, he's doing it right now. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? So yeah. And with that though, I want to do one thing. I want to thank my awesome panel. I've had some really, really great guests. I can't believe some of the people I've got together today, actually. Shane, Shane, are you on Twitter? Do you have a Twitter?
Yeah.
Shane the _Spurs.
It's right there on your name. Jeez,
Yep.
forgive me. And so yeah, everyone, give him a follow. He's a good dude. When I say good dude, I don't say that lightly. There's not that many good dudes left around. It's a dark world these days.
Thanks,
and
mate.
Shane's one of the good ones. He's always in the comments.
Always.
Never
Always the first one to retweet my tweets.
never let me be
He's
alone.
always there, man. He's
Never
always
let
there.
me sitting here alone talking by myself. He's always here. So thanks a bunch, Shane. I appreciate you more than you know, buddy.
No worries. Thanks, mate.
Oh, always, friend, always. And then we got Bob Spur.
Piss off, Bob.
Legend in the making. Yeah, piss off, of course. It goes without saying. And I mean, Bob. Let me just say something about Bob. If you need anything, if you're a creator, if you're new, if you maybe want to do it, if you're thinking about it, Bob will help you out. He'll sort you out with anything, and he enjoys doing it. He enjoys helping people, and that's a special characteristic you don't find in a lot of people. And so, I can't take. I got a hood. It would be a lot of things, but hats off to you, Bob. Thanks for being there. Thanks for being awesome. And then we have the legendary Mr. K. Thank you, Mr. K, for being here. You were one of the first to jump in. This was kind of a last-minute stream. I wasn't really planning on doing it, but then I got a wild hair, and yeah, Mr. K jumped right in, and he kind of gave it more of a
No.
smooth
Thank you for inviting. Honest to God, I was just getting in touch with you, and you say, "Hey, man, I'm putting a stream ad hoc together." I said, "Brilliant, mate. I'll come and watch it." And then I don't know, something between saying that and then I thought, you know what? Let me jump on as well. Don't forget Tiago. Oh my days, what an he's got some amazing views.
He and I have been Twitter friends for a long time, but I've never met him really like this. I consider this meeting people, you know.
Yeah.
And I never met him, and I dropped him a line today, and I said, hey, you know, I'm doing this. If you'd like to come, it'd be great to have you. He said, what do I do? I said, click the link. If you got, you know, you're good to go. And here he was. It was great. And so, Tiago, if you're watching still, God bless you, because we're not really talking about anything. But thanks for being here, man. You're a good dude. You'll definitely be invited for future ones. And last but certainly not least,
you can't say last. Don't forget your mum.
Oh,
she was on too.
Very true, and she would kill me. But I'll go Scott, my favorite bald person in the group right now. How are you, my friend?
Not many bald YouTubers, so I'm trying to a new trend here,
But yeah, so thank you for being here, friend. It's cool to see you. You're another face that I rarely see, and I mostly just see in text form.
I like Mr. K and like a few people. I said I took a little bit of a break and then said I was going to calm down, and then I get talking and somebody mentions Jose and Bob Spur knows. then Bob Spur sees his comments just going crazy and wondering what's going on. So
it's like an itch.
Always good to be on here and talk. I tend to be a little bit more rational and calm when I get talking to people than I do in the comments. It's easy just to go.
You're not accountable for anything in the comments. I'm a psycho in the comments sometimes.
You know something? I've been really impressed with some of the commentators. Some of the comments, the viewers that have come up and actually typed comments. Mark Swift absolute legend. He
Pervert.
He's
in there.
always here. Mark Swift is always here. Always.
The man, the myth, the legend, Brian Daigle. Oh my days! I can't
Yeah,
wait
he's
for
on.
you hear the
Yes,
time.
I feel
We
blessed.
spoke
every time
about
I-
him, and he turned up.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. Speak of the devil type.
And then
shit,
your
right?
friend as well. I think I've forgotten the gentleman's name.
William.
Frederickson.
William. Yes,
William
he's a very
Frederickson.
I've known him. You guys know something cool? I've known him since first grade. That's
Wow.
6 years old. And then we got to say real quick, thanks to Todd and Mom.
Yeah.
She birthed me. That was great. I appreciate that. I like that. Being here is cool. And then I converted her to a Spurs fan. She's gone to
You
London.
converted her.
I did, and
Okay.
she's gone to London. We've gone to London together
Wow.
once. We're going together in December.
I swear. Look, I'll tell you one thing though. Julie definitely knows what she's talking about.
Yes.
She's clear and articulate, and she doesn't take any prisoners when she's talking, which
Yeah.
I think is an absolute brilliant thing. If you want to come online, you got to have that type of personality. It's
I
really
was raised by,
refreshing
if you
to
can't
see.
tell, I was raised by a single mom. She's a tough lady. I played soccer my whole life, and so we call it that's what we call it. And so she's been around the sport forever. So she's definitely been exposed. But I got her stuck on Tottenham. It's been ever since. I think Chadley was her favorite player for a long time.
Okay.
That was the season. When
Just want to big up my show that I'm doing on Saturday. First of all, if you're not subscribed to this channel, what the fuck are you doing? You need to be sorting your head out. There's no reason why you shouldn't be subscribing to this one. And of course, Colin's alter ego, Butt Fuckley, absolutely brilliant. I'd like to see him.
He's a wild man. I can't be responsible for anything that he says.
Don't seem to. But I'm doing, with an international break, I normally do a special. So I'm doing a special on Qatar 2022 World Cup,
Definitely, yeah.
human rights issues there, and
Don't get me started.
corruption and everything else. But I think what we're going to chat about, Shane, as well as everything else, and looking back at the weekend's results and everything, and international results, is the morality side. Like I said before, I hate what's going on in Qatar. I hate the human rights. I hate about the deaths. I hate about corruption. Hate Platini. Hate what's his name? Bloody hell! The main FIFA guy, Blatter. Hate everything what the World Cup stands for. I call it blood sport, and that's what I've called the show. But am I going to watch it? Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
So
Australia was robbed.
Yeah.
Australia was robbed. We should have got the World Cup instead of Qatar.
Well, that's
We
it.
were robbed. The fraud. Yeah, we were robbed.
Exactly. And it's even come to light that it was down to pure fraud. The fact it didn't come out 3 years ago is the reason why it's still happening. But yeah, it's a big issue. I did do a show about 6 months ago, but it's probably back too soon. It's only a few months away now, so we're going to delve into that and hope to get some good guests on. That's Saturday.
Yeah, get yourself over there. When you say it was, Bob?
Saturday, 10:30 p.m.
Everybody
GMT.
be there. Everybody be there. I'll be at the very least in the comments if you got space for me, man. I've always got opinions. So yeah. Awesome. Well, everybody, I hope that you're all doing well wherever you are. If you're watching this, hope life is going well for you. Hope you have a good day. Hope sun's shining and I don't know, you find $1 in your pocket or something. So thanks again, everybody. You're watching Talking Ball. Good night.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
Leave
you
me out.
Spurs.
Nuno in.